What's up and welcome to my Strix SCAR 15 RTX 3080 Ryzen 9 5900HX QHD 165Hz live benchmarks session. It's time to find out if this thing is as good or better than the RTX 3070 and how much better it is, because in Timespy it's not a huge difference, at least initially. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what kind of performance difference we get between this one and the Strix G17 with the 3070 behind me, because it seems like at $900 more, there's not a huge performance difference off the bat, but we'll have to see, because in some games we might see drastically more performance in the 3080, especially at higher resolutions with RTX and DLSS enabled. So we're going to have to find out. Are the speakers much better on the SCAR 15? Yes, they are much improved over the Strix G17. I was actually very surprised at the increased bass and total volume, I believe. I needed to actually do the dB check, but it feels like it's more volume and it's much more of a full premium speaker sound. So yeah. So is this a review? No, this is a live benchmarks. It's going to give you a realistic idea of the performance, though, of the laptop, hopefully. I've got all of the drivers updated. I've got everything going, so we can go ahead and just get this party on the road. All right, so we got Timespy here. We need to go ahead and go into all of these and close all, make sure all the applications are closed, like Spotify, my Spider 5 Elite software, Epic Games, Origin Games. I try to only leave open the application like Steam and then whatever thing I'm running. Like if I run an Epic Games game, then I'll just run Epic Games. Now I keep Afterburner open and HW Info open, so we need to make sure HW Info is opened. And I keep these open for all of the games and everything that I check. And this is an updated version of HW Info with all of the data here. So now I did also, something you guys will love, I'm running this off of the GH5 now. So you guys will be able to see a lot better on the screen what's going on. So is this worth all the extra money over the Zephyrus G15? That's one of the things we're going to try to find out today, Chris. Let's go ahead and give a Timespy a run. This is certainly a higher TDP compared to the Zephyrus G15, which has a lower TDP. So on top of getting a GPU upgrade, we also can get a TDP upgrade. Toxic Jerry says, I just have a quick question for you. What would you suggest out of the two, the Asus X13 Flow or the Asus G17? The purpose is gaming as well as streaming. I mean, those are drastically two different sizes in laptops. If it was me, I'd probably go with the G17. But if you really want to have like a really portable system to carry around with you all the time, the Flow is like a much more portable system. So less total weight, even when you factor in the weight of the power brick being more. Is this available in QHD 165Hz? Yes, it is. The moment of truth. Dum 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 dum. It's really down to what you feel comfortable with spending. Yeah, so the SCAR 15 certainly is a very premium upgrade in many ways. And it looks like I need to make the overlay size a little bit bigger so it's easier for you guys to see. Am I going to try it with Optimus off? I believe you mean Optimus bypassed, and yes, the goal would be to try this with Optimus bypassed. Why did I get the 15-inch? Because that's the one I was able to get access to. Now, did you guys get notifications sent out for this? Because I didn't see any notifications go out, which is, you know, it's a bummer because we want notifications to go out. I mean, we're getting more and more people hopping on the stream as it goes on, so we'll just keep it rolling. But I just want to make sure it's working. No notifications. Man, that's so annoying. I want everyone on the stream to know, you know, what's going on. Maybe I should end the stream and start it again, and just so the just so we get got a notification. No, I didn't get a notification. I got a notification. Okay. You guys got notifications. That's fantastic. Okay. That makes me feel a lot better because I just want to make sure everyone's being notified. Did the stream just start? Yes. 7 minutes ago, the stream started. I never have it turned on. I just check every few hours. Oh, okay. That's pretty quick, Coco. Choco. Is this laptop just for games, or can it be used for Adobe work? It can definitely be used for Adobe work, without a doubt. It's got a great processor on the inside. The display is much higher quality than most gaming laptops, being higher resolution and a good color gamut. It's not the most amazing color gamut. You can certainly get ones with more color gamut, though. Top of my notifications on the homepage. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Just love it. Thanks, guys, for the feedback there. What's the TDP of the SCAR? So right now, we can see the TDP. We're pulling 130.5 watts, 131, 130.6, 128, 129, 129, 128. So we're averaging right around 130, give or take a little bit. And you can see our temperatures are 79 and 67. And this is on turbo mode. You can hear there's barely no fan noise at all right now. So keep in mind, this is on turbo mode. This is not the manual mode with a slight OC. So the score will be just a little bit lower, probably. Has Asus said what they didn't, why they didn't go 150 watts in the premium SCAR? I don't know. I'm guessing they think it just can't handle the heat, but I think it totally can. That's the thing. It makes me a little disappointed they didn't try to push it to 150 watts, because we'd be able to push this to a whole new performance level if we could. Are the temps better on the 17-inch variant? They might be slightly better, but I would not expect a drastic difference. Because I think they have very similar heat pipes, and manufacturers do include the same heat pipes for a deliberate reason, because it reduces the cost a lot of how much it costs the manufacturer to make the laptop, right? This is the cream of the crop of the premium laptops for me. Yeah, man, this thing is awesome. Okay, so look at that score, 11,291. We're not going to save this, but this is just to show you what it's like in turbo mode. Let's go ahead and switch to manual mode. Now, this slightly increases. The TDPs of the CPU do not change, but the TDP, or the clock speeds of the GPU and the memory clock go up just a little bit when we go into this mode. So we apply this, boom, boom. Now we're going to have max fans, so you guys will be able to hear the fans in the background. And let's go ahead and give this another run. And this will be the first run of the official runs for this laptop. I'm going to do 2 of them, and then we average the 2 together. How good is the numpad? It works really well, Ramon. The only issue that I ran into so far while using this Strix is that when you activate the numpad, kind of on the right side of the numpad, there's an enter button. And so sometimes I keep hitting the enter button. I'm just like, no! So this is better than the M17 i9 3080. That just depends on the games you're playing. So like the thing about the M17 is that you can get direct connection to the display for better esports performance. Yeah, man, this chat's going really fast. Thank you guys for all the questions and everything. Hey, try NVIDIA broadcast software with Realtek. You can really stop all the back noise from the mic. I use them together and place the mic next to the fans, and it only picks up my voice. Crazy. That's pretty interesting. I may do that, but I think it is helpful for the stream to kind of hear how the fans sound, you know? That way you guys get a realistic idea. Like, in every video. At least you can hear the kind of the background of how bad it is. Asus only if you want Ryzen. Yeah, I think most people are going to want Ryzen this year. It's a much cooler running CPU, which allows the GPU to boost higher. And it's really, really good multi-core performance. But ideally, though, you do want a Ryzen with a mux switch if you want the most performance. If I want to go buy a gaming laptop right now, what is my #1 recommendation? What's your price point, Remy? You got to give me a price point with these questions. If it's under $1,500, probably the Aorus 15G. If it's under $2,000, probably the Aorus 15G again. Because those are going to be pretty accessible. I believe it has a mux switch, and it's thin and light and still fairly premium at the same time, and it's very reasonably priced. It does have an Intel CPU, though, which is going to be really great for gaming, not as good for multitasking. How does the chassis material feel compared to the Zephyrus G15? This chassis material feels great. So does the They both feel very good. I think the bigger thing is the lighting is way cooler on the Strix SCAR 15. I want to buy this laptop, but don't know from which website. Nabil, you can check my spreadsheets, link in the description, if you want to figure out at least some or more places you can potentially buy it. There's international stores and US stores on that list. So, yeah. Does it go up to 4 terabytes? I can upgrade this all the way up to 16 terabytes. And I'm deciding if I'm going to. I've got two 8 terabyte SSDs right here. And I might throw these in this machine, or I might hold off and buy a different machine for my actual laptop. We'll see. I've got a couple more laptops. I'm debating which laptop to actually make my own personal one. And I'm leaning towards this one right now, but I'm just like, I love 17 inchers. So 17 inch is just more functional for me when I game on it. Okay, CPU test time. Why you not never worry about memory again? Why not? You never worry about memory again. Oh, you're talking about this. Yeah, no, it's really nice having lots of storage on the inside, especially if you edit videos or you deal with lots of big files, or you just download lots and lots of games. Like, I have already filled up the 1 terabyte drive on this SCAR 15 with all of the benchmarks. Just the games from the benchmarks right now. It's like almost 1 terabyte. GE76 Raider or SCAR 15, what would you choose? The GE76 has a 150 watt GPU, but Intel. SCAR 15 has 130, but AMD. So if you just want pure gaming performance, that GE76 Raider will perform better. So our first run. Done to done. Okay, I'm going to switch this around here. We need our benchmark template here. And we're going to need to put that sucker over here. There we go. Cool, and now we got to edit all these to make them blank. Okay, I'm just going to scooch my chair over for a moment to edit these. So the GE76, the big thing about that one is it's got a higher TDP. It goes up to 155 watts actually, and it's really impressive, just pure gaming performance. And that's the thing. If you're just after pure gaming performance, that is probably the way to go. Now, if you want CPU rendering performance as well, that's where the SCAR 15 really shines, and the temperatures the SCAR runs at, and the SCAR is just the whole package, you know. So, I've been really impressed with the SCAR. You get a premium build, you get a premium chassis, premium lighting. Great all-around performance, adaptive sync, and then if you want the full performance like the same what you get with a MUX, you can use an external monitor, which I was playing on an external monitor with it last night, doing Call of Duty Warzone with my QHD 240 Hz external display, and it was running great. It wasn't pushing it all the way to the max of the frame rates, but I mean, you can't really expect anything right now to push 240 frames per second in Warzone. Even desktops, I don't think, can push that. It's a CPU-bound game anyway, and we're getting great CPU performance in this, especially when you go to a external monitor and you're bypassing NVIDIA Optimus bottlenecking. So we're ready to start entering our numbers. Let's put our first Timespy run in here. So for our GPU, we got 11,427. CPU, we got 9654. Okay, let's go ahead and run this again. And let me also make the make this bigger so it's easier for you guys to see the overlay. Cool. Out of the Strix 17 and Zephyrus 15, which one would you suggest for gaming and multitasking of video editing? Those are going to have very similar performance, James. It's just you're going to get just a little bit more with the Strix lineup than the Zephyrus, because the Zephyrus just has lower TDPs than the Strix. So if you want more performance, go with the Strix, but it's just bulkier and bigger. But it's like not a huge difference. It's certainly a difference though in performance, noticeable. Like I'm thinking between 10 and 30%, depending. Maybe not even up to 30%. 30% might be a little high, but 10 to 20% probably in most things between the two, which is incredible, right? Because the Zephyrus is so thin and light. Okay, I've been searching for a good gaming laptop for a while, but I'm not sure which is the best under $1,800 to $2,000 price point. What do you think? It all depends on what you value, Empress, but I think my top recommendations under $2,000 would be the Zephyrus G15, the Strix G15 and 17, the Aorus 15G. Now, if you want the most powerful GPU under $2,000, it's probably that Strix G17, or maybe the Aorus 15G with the 3080, because you get 3080, 32 gigs of RAM. The Aorus 15G, I think, is just the best bang for the buck all-around gaming laptop at $2,000, probably. But it's got 10th gen Intel, so that's like the downside. It's like a trade-off. How are we doing on temps? 62 degrees on the GPU, that's amazing. Pushing 130 watts consistently. And then 50 degrees on the CPU, though the CPU is in a very light load right now, which is, so it's understandable. I'm really liking the fact that this thing is boosting at 130 constantly, pretty much. Have any manufacturers not shown, announced their 30 series laptops at all? Yeah, well, we have a number of manufacturers like Lenovo, Acer, that have teased their laptops, but they haven't officially like launched them for sale yet. No users have them in hand. Let's see here. It wasn't, and I feel like Dell is going to have some more too. There's a bunch more models that are going to come out in the next 3 to 4 months for sure. Does this 3080 have 8 gigs or 16 gigs? This has 16 gigs in this SCAR 16, so or SCAR 15. But I don't think that'll make much of a difference in any of the current games, except maybe Watch Dogs Legion and Flight Simulator, maybe Star Citizen. But most games just don't push more than 8 gigs anyway. What laptop would you suggest for school work, Adobe work, sound production? $2,500 max price. I'd probably recommend the SCAR 15 or 17 with a 3070. That'd probably be my number one recommendation under $2,500, because I think it's $2,200 for that. And I'm not seeing a huge performance difference between the 3070 and 3080, at least so far. But we're about to find out more about the performance difference between 3070 and 3080 in this stream. So, what's the maximum storage of SSD you can have on a second slot in the Strix 17? So, James, the biggest you can get is an 8 terabyte SSD, which I have right here. It costs about $1,300. So you can get 2 of these for a total of 16 terabytes of space. In most of these laptops this year come with 2 PCIe SSD slots. The reason I ask is because I do machine learning. Okay. Uji, I'm trying to find your first comment. Does the 3080 have 8 gigs, 16 gigs? I understand. Yeah. No, this has 16. What's the price for the Asus X13 Flow in the United States? I had ordered a Flow X13 for $28.99, I believe, with a 1080p screen, so it's like the lower model of the Flow 13. Let's see what we get on our second run. Ooh, is that the exact same score? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. No, I was going to say, the chances of that are just insanely low. Okay, we got to average these two together. That's a great score, I think, overall. Calculator. 11,469 plus 11,427 divided by 2. Okay, so our final score is 11,448. And then for our CPU score, we got 9654 plus 9591 divided by 2. 9623. Okay, so there's our Timespy. Let's go ahead and try Port Royale. I think eventually I'm going to start adding Port Royale into my series of tests. Any word on the review units for the Gigabyte A5 and A7? RS Game Tech, I have not heard anything yet. I have asked Aorus/Gigabyte to send me the Gigabyte A5 and A7. We'll see if they send me one. I think a lot of people are really on vacation right now because of the New Year. You know, and a lot of these manufacturers are based in Taiwan and China and stuff like that. So a lot of them are taking vacations like right now. It's like their Christmas holiday season. So not much communication coming out of that side of the world right now because everyone's on vacation. When is the Zephyrus G15 review? Probably in about a weekish, maybe week and a half. Fusey Gamer, but I'll have a live benchmarking session of that one coming up in a few days. It just takes time putting everything together after all the benchmarks are done. Okay. Can you tell us about the keyboard, please? I program a lot and want a good keyboard. The keyboard on the SCAR 15 is arguably close to the best keyboard I've ever used on a gaming laptop. Has a great clicky feel, feels extremely premium, very bright backlight, and the colors, 2 giant thumbs up, and the layout is great. I just wish they had dedicated home and page up, page down buttons on the keyboard. So, and you do have the number pad inside of the trackpad, which is really nice. Okay, what software is used to measure temps and clock speeds? I use MSI Afterburner to bring up the overlay, and then I use HW Info in the background. Would you say this is the best gaming laptop on the market? The GE76 does have a higher TDP, but it runs on Intel. Diego, I think it all comes down to what kind of games you want to play. I think the GE76 is arguably going to push higher frame rates in more games more often, but because it has the higher TDP and it has a mux switch. But it's just not going to have the same flexibility that you have with this system. So it's just, and the pricing too. This is a much cheaper price. Nadir, thanks for the $10 super chat, man. Thanks. I was talking about the GE76, not the GP. Yeah, I think if you want best bang for the buck from MSI, you got to go with the GP66 with the 3060 or 3070. Really great bang for the buck on that system. How bad is the noise when doing these benchmarks? Not bad. The noise is not bad at all. Like, in my opinion, like, this is not the loudest max fans I've ever used. But the thing is, you don't need to run max fans on these machines to have great performance and good temps. Like, you still get good temps, even when not on max fan. That's the key. Okay. Best 3080 gaming laptop for VR under 3500, the GE76 or the Alienware M17 right now. But there will be other options if you wait, because we don't have very many big chunky beefy things, you know. So if you're looking for something moderate or thin, you know, thin to moderate size, then yeah, those are great options. Okay, so we got 7062. That's a big bump up without a doubt. Wow, okay. We'll have to compare at the end of the stream. We should try to compare some of these numbers and see what this got versus the Strix G17. Okay, nice. That is heckin' impressive. Let's do on Fire Strike Ultra. How does the 3060 compare to RTX 2000 GPUs? The big thing about the RTX 3060 is that in many of those machines, it's just so competitively priced. That's the big thing. Like, that's why it becomes such a great bang for the buck. Because before, like last year, you'd pay $1,300 for an RTX 2060. Now you can pay like $1,100 and get a 3060. So that's the big difference there. It's from what I've seen, the 2060 to 3060 bump is like anywhere from 10 to 30 to 40% depending on the TDPs of everything. So it is a big bump. It is a decent bump in performance, but it just depends. Sebastian with the super chat. Thanks, man. I sold my Clevo and now wait for an RTX 3000 laptop. Ooh, it's upgrade time. Ooh, it's upgrade time. That's nice. This seems like a great laptop, but Optimus is holding it back. Yeah, I really wish they had a mux switch option. I would definitely get that if I had the option. How many gig on the 3080? We got 16 gigs on this 3080. Maybe I should put that into the overlay because people keep asking. 16 gigs VRAM. Okay. Exotic says they sell a 200 watt 3080 i9 10900K. So we'll see if that's 200 watts. Kareem, it might be. That's one of the first chunky machines. It's on my spreadsheet list. So if you're looking for a laptop that has a really high TDP, that might be one of them. I believe that's confirmed to be at least 165 watt 3080. I don't know if it goes all the way up to 200 watt. It's a big chunker. It's like 8.5 pounds, so it might. In the idea, one can expect big chunky laptops, Alienware Area 51 type. So right now, ProTag, right now, I don't want to cuss on stream. Your name almost got me. So ProTag, thanks for the $5 super chat. Alienware Area 51 type laptops. Right now, there's only one that I know of, and that is the Clevo. It's like the 170KM or something like that. It's on my spreadsheet near the bottom. It costs around $300 or something, but it comes with a really high TDP 3080. I don't know. I haven't seen any reviews of that or tests of that at all yet, but in theory, that should be the most powerful gaming laptop currently available, because it also has a desktop i9 10900K in it. So, will I review the Flow? Yeah, Asus is planning to send me a Flow at some point, Kim. I don't know when, though. I did order it, but I was like, I canceled it because I'm trying to get, since Asus said they were going to send me one, I just canceled the order. I probably would already have it in hand if I had just not canceled it, but it's okay. Okay, I'm looking to replace my desktop for a laptop for traveling purposes. I have a 1080 Ti and 8700K. Would you say a laptop like this would be the same or better than my desktop? Yes. This laptop right here next to me should outperform that laptop consistently in about everything, I would think. This laptop is that should be a pretty safe bet. Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm pretty confident in that statement. Okay, I should be able to stack these up too to make this a little less tall. Okay, for the GPU, we got 7497. These are some nice bumps in performance over the Strix G17, if I remember correctly. This is off the top of my head, though, which is hard to remember. So I'm pretty sure that we got like 6,000 or something like that with the Strix G15. Okay, so I can move this down a little bit now. Cool. All right. What should we run next? Should we run Cyberpunk? Yeah, let's do Cyberpunk. Top laptop for gaming and school, under $2,500. Brandon, that's a good question. So I was recommending, I think the SCAR 15 would be a great choice as long as you don't desperately need a webcam. If you need a webcam, I'm pretty sure we would have, if you need a webcam, I think the Aorus 15G has one. So that would probably be another great alternative. Would you keep this laptop or go for the Zephyrus Duo 15 SE? Embers, I think that's more has to do with whether you need a, that has more to do with whether you need the dual screens or can take advantage of the dual screens. Because if you can take advantage of the dual screens, that's where the Zephyrus Duo really shines. The Electronics Max 15. Yeah, the Electronics lineup does look pretty good this year. Definitely. I think the tricky part with them is they just can't match. The electronics laptops just do not match even close to the premium features you get on the SCAR series. So to me, that's the main downside of those laptops. I canceled my G15 pre-order for this bad boy. Probably, I mean, if it was me picking, I would go SCAR 15. Hands down over the Zephyrus. That's me, because I love the RGB. I love the RGB. And also the slight increase in build quality and the higher TDPs gives a bit more performance, right? So all of those things put together makes me a happy camper. So we've got 1440p. We are going to test everything at 1080p and QHD today. So we're going to do both because I'm going to need those numbers for my benchmark graphs. So we'll do 1440p first. And we're going to set, so for 1440p, I'm going to keep it at balanced for DLSS instead of quality. And then, so that's just going to be my standard when I go up in resolution, I'll go down in DLSS just a little bit. Cool. Because it looks very similar, and you get more performance as well. So, but I wouldn't go down to performance really if you're doing 1080p. QHD though is better. What do you think of the MSI Raider GE76 and the higher wattage? L4D, I think the bigger difference actually is having a MUX switch on the GE76, but the increase in TDP will also help as well. Okay. Oh, I didn't load into a very good save. Let's go back a little bit more. Which one? This one should be a good one to do some action in Cyberpunk. Is there somewhere in the US we can get the eLuck Max lines? Just the electronics website, Benjamin. I don't think there's any other websites that sell the Tongfeng chassis. HID Evolution does sell the Clevo chassis, and a handful of other companies sell the Clevo chassis. But for the Tongfeng ones, as far as I know, electronics is the only one. Oh, God. Whoops. I got the action started a little bit sooner than normal. Okay, so this is QHD. Just got to keep that in mind. So comparing this to the G15 or the G17 stuff, this is playing very smoothly. Come here. I think my mouse is not working properly because it's like only taking half the clicks. Probably not the laptop's fault though. Or maybe I'm just clicking too fast and it can't shoot this fast. Okay. Give me a real weapon here for this last fight. We'll go shotgun. We're going shotgun, baby. Boom, boom. Double barrel. Oh my gosh, this guy can take so many shotgun hits to the face over and over again. Awesome. Let's just shoot this giant gun for a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our benchmark now. That gives you an idea of the performance with the QHD. Very impressive. Definitely playable with the QHD settings. Okay, taking a look at your questions. You should make a buyer's guide, Excel file or video. If you don't already plan to. Seems like a lot of people are asking to buy certain price ranges. So Mr. Sear, I have a spreadsheet in the video description down below, which I'll probably show off later the stream, that compares all the different laptops available right now with different ratings. So I would encourage you to check that out if you're curious. Okay, so here we go. And we're off. Okay. How were your experiences with the Asus ToughDash F15, and how would you feel it compares to the G15 for a young student? Personally, I prioritize performance over weight, but it was insanely thick. So I have not got my hands on the ToughDash yet, but it does seem like a good option for someone that needs something really, really portable. It is less performance for sure, though, but it's priced really competitively. Notice you didn't put down whether the Aorus 15 G3080 had a MUX switch or Optimus in your spreadsheet. I just got it. It has a graphics switch in the Gigabyte Control Center. So Vlad Steer, can you confirm that the integrated GPU is not, like, can you run CSGO workshop benchmark with the GPU switched on and off, and let me know the frame rate difference? Okay, I think that was it. That was right. We're 40. I need to turn down the number of things we got going in Afterburner so it's easier for everyone to track what we got going on here. Okay, so we just need our 1% lows, and we don't need our max. That was the... There we go. Okay, so let's go back and run this again. Okay, Daniel with the super chat. So far, is the price bump worth it over the Strix G17? Daniel, it all depends on if you value the premium features that you get with the SCAR lineup. The chassis is much better. the LEDs are brighter on the keyboard. You get another LED strip underneath the display to light up the keyboard with different colors, which is really cool. So there's a number of different things you get with the SCAR lineup. Would I pick it? Maybe. I think if I had the money, I would go SCAR, but if you want to save some bucks, I think going the G17's route is perfectly fine. Okay. Is this worth the extra $400 over the G15 same specs? That, I think, is only worth it, like I just said, if you value the premium features. Anyone know if the mux switch makes a difference with an external display? I would think it wouldn't matter. So when you use an external display on a laptop, you are bypassing the mux switch anyway. So it's like a way of bypassing, same way that mux switches bypass. So right now we're doing 4942 in QHD. There we go, 4942. Cool. Let's go ahead and add this to our chart. And this will be QHD average, and this is 4942, and then we'll have full HD as well to add here. So now we're going to go and change our settings and see what we get at 1080p. You make me feel sexy, Gizmo. Oh my god. Since I'm I don't want to inspire these comments. Since I'm using this for the next couple of years, I went with the highest end config I could get. Makes sense. Makes sense. But I gotta say the 3080 is only a small margin of improvement over the 3070 so far, but we're gonna find out more and more so here as we do these. This is certainly a higher FPS than we were getting with the 3070. That's for sure. Hi, does the 17-inch version have QHD? Yes, you can get it with QHD. You can get the 15 and 17-inch versions with QHD, 1080p, a bunch of different things. Waiting for the 3080 16 gig VRAM versus 3070 8 gig VRAM. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to tell the difference between those two in most titles. $65.51. Nice. That's a nice bump up, I believe. It's not a huge increase, but it's an improvement, especially for the internal display. Okay, 65.51. $65. 51. I'm just going to make this smaller so we can fit these all on here easier. It doesn't take as much room. There we go. Okay. Very nice. Okay. There's our Cyberpunk numbers. Let's fire up Far Cry 5. Do you recommend the SCAR 17 3070 Ryzen 9? Yeah, Maxim, that would be a great option. Where can you buy the G15, G17? Pika, you can check my spreadsheet for all the different ways you can buy. Linked in the description down below. Do you know if any of these new RTX 3000 series will be offering G-Sync? So Rebound, this offers adaptive sync utilizing the AMD processor. So, but there are a number of laptops like the Alienware that has G-Sync. Effectively, it's very similar though. Is there a drastic performance difference between the 4000 and 5000 series CPUs? Yes, there is, especially for gaming. I would recommend a 5000 series over a 4000 series. The 5000 series will offer more frames per second and not bottleneck the GPUs as much. To those asking, I think the Strix is about performance per dollar, and the Zephyrus is more about portability and battery life. Yeah, I would agree. That's generally that's a pretty good general rule for those lineups. So we're at 1440p, ultra cool. All of that looks correct. All right, so we're gonna do Far Cry 5. Now we're gonna have QHD and Full HD. Is resizable bar enabled on this laptop? I'm not sure, YJ, but I wouldn't expect resizable bar to make that big of a difference, generally speaking. How is the QHD 165Hz display? Fantastic. I think it's a really great gaming display. I'm not seeing any ghosting. It seems bright enough. Seems not ultra colorful, but colorful enough to satisfy most gamers. Zephyrus G15 with RTX 3070 or 3060. $500 difference Canadian with same processor. Depends on your games and whether you want more performance, wild commenter. But the 3060 at a $500 difference, that's Canadian though. I'm not sure how that translates. So we got 74. Interestingly low. Let's try running that again. But this is QHD too, so you know QHD is gonna be a lot harder than 1080p. And I also want to do my 1% low, so I got to start that. I have an RTX 2060 single fan GPU, hits 83 degrees Celsius. Is that normal? That's fine. Are you talking about a desktop or laptop? Desktop, that might be a bit high. Laptop, that's pretty reasonable. I need the ROG Zephyrus 17-inch version, huh? Yeah, I don't think they make the 17-inch version. Is the 3060 Max P faster than the 3070 Max Q? Depends on the game, but it very likely may be. How much more performance would you expect if this was plugged into a monitor, bypassing Optimus and such? Franco, it just depends on the game. I made a whole video talking about it, but if it's a GPU-bound game, it's only about a 7% difference on average. And if it's a CPU-bound game, it's about a 30% difference on average. But some games it's more than that, some games it's less than that. Professor Orange, I bought this 3080. How do you change the TDP to 130? It just depends on the game. It'll dynamically boost to 130 all automatically, Professor. Okay, so watching the stream back, looks like we got 7666. Okay, so QHD 7666, right? I'm going to check the stream. Yeah, 7666. Cool. Let's go ahead and run it at 1080p now. See how it does at 1080p. For me, this is going to be the first time ever running a lot of these benchmarks at both resolutions, so it's going to be very interesting. And here you guys will be able to see, if you can even notice, the difference with the camera between the two resolutions. All right. What games from the top of your mind are more CPU-bound than GPU-bound? Primarily, Diego, you're looking at the esports titles that are CPU-bound, like CSGO, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, stuff like that, that are just really easy to run with the GPU, and so it just gets hard stopped by the... I didn't run my 1% low. Got to run it again. Might as well just start it over again. Okay. Don't like Alienware? No, I like Alienware. I own an Alienware right here. I'm streaming from an Alienware. This is an Alienware. But it just depends on what you need, you know? And Asus's offerings this year are just so competitively priced. So it's harder for me to recommend Alienware over most of Asus for most people. Can you run Battlefield 5 on Ultra? I'm sure you can. Did I start my 1% lows? I don't think I did. Valerio, thanks for the stop by the stream, man. Do you have an FPS average for Valorant on your Zephyrus G15? Not yet, Wild Commenter, but I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty high up there. You can expect great performance in that game for sure. So it looks like we're hitting a 104. 105. Nice. Okay. I got to run it again, though, to get my 1% low. I want to make sure I start. I think I started it, but I just want to make sure I did it at the right time. Advanced Optimus does imply that the internal display is hooked directly to the monitor. We are going. We got our 1% lows. I'm not sure I'm checking the right one, but in EU it says Strix is a Ryzen 7 5000 series instead of Ryzen 9 5000 series. There's very little difference between those as long as they're both running high performance, higher TDPs. Is Dota 2 in esports? Yeah, Kim, but almost all these laptops will be able to crush Dota 2 easily, okay? So you don't have, your Dota 2 will be able to run perfectly on all of these laptops, every single one. So yeah, it's one of the easier games to run. You honestly don't even need a gaming laptop to run that pretty well these days. The integrated GPU can play that game pretty well. Okay. Let's see what we get. 103.79. Okay. 103.79. Cool. I really hope someone makes an Advanced Optimus 3000 series laptop. So Rebound, the only one I've heard of so far that's confirmed, well, mostly confirmed. I'm trying to verify, triple verify the Razer Blade Pro 15 with a 240 Hz QHD panel. That one's supposed to be having Advanced Optimus. Well, let's do some CSGO action. Can you explain the difference between IPS panel and LED? I can't. So light emitting diode is what LED stands for. I can't remember what IPS, but LEDs basically have individual subpixels that can light up, like an OLED panel, for example, has an individual pixels that can light up, versus the IPS panel has like just a complete backlight. So usually you have much higher contrast on LED panels. It's like OLED panels especially. I think OLED is different than some LED panels, though. I honestly need to do a little more research before I can give you a really good answer on that. Good question, though. Disabled full screen, 1440p. These are all correct. We're just going to need to go to our game, turn on developer console so we can see the results. Boom, boom, boom. So how about that keystone, Dave HS? Yeah, how about that keystone? I think it's mainly just a gimmick, but I think some people might use it, but I don't know. Yeah. The real, so Subham, the main thing you need to know is just that the difference between OLED panels and IPS panels, like what we get, on this one, right? So as long as you've got like an OLED panel, for example, cannot go to high refresh rates. They're usually really high brightness, really high contrast, really good black levels, which are great for creators. Really high color gamut usually too. And IPS is usually lower color gamut, lower nits brightness, but high refresh, or can be high refresh. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Now we do not get an overlay on this. So just bought the 3080 MSI GE66. Been doing research for a while. Any thoughts? I think that is going to be a great laptop. Just a dude. I think that will be a great laptop. Looks like Nightbot slapped you around. Okay, so we're averaging over 300 FPS right now, which is going to be great for CSGO. That's really good. So the nice thing about that GE66 is that you've got a nice TDP with a mux switch, so you're going to get kind of the best overall performance Intel can offer. And I love the build quality on the GE66 too, so I think you're going to like that laptop a lot. Are you going to get an electronics laptop soon? So far, I still have not been able to coordinate with them. But I did put an order in for one, but I don't even know when it's going to come in though, so they're just super delayed. What do you think about the thermals? I might cancel my order for that laptop, honestly. We'll see. What do you think about the thermals? Seems like there's room for higher power. Yeah, man, it definitely seems that way. We've got really good temps pretty much all the time on this laptop. Is there a big difference in the FPS between the Strix G15 and the Zephyrus G15? I would pick the Strix G15 if it was me, Ellie. But if you value performance, get the Strix G15. If you value portability, get the Zephyrus, because their performance will be pretty close. Can I feel the difference between 165 Hz and 360 Hz? Yes, you definitely can, as long as the game can actually play at that frame rate. AMX96, you don't want to play more demanding games like Red Dead 2 and AC Valhalla. CSGO is outdated. It is an older game, but I'm doing a wide, I test over 15 different games in my benchmarks. So that's why. So we got 223 FPS with QHD. So we're hitting maximum frame rate on this display with this laptop in CSGO with high settings. Impressive. QHD, we got 23. Okay. Because I like to be able to give people a realistic idea of what they can expect the laptop to perform in all kinds of different games, from you know, from esports titles to AAA titles like Red Dead Redemption and Cyberpunk. So we got a whole mixture of tests that we run. CSGO is the grandfather of games that refuse to die a quiet death. I mean, it's a great game. Have you played it? I've played thousands of hours of CS. So, like, I grew up in high school playing CS 1.6 and then CSGO later on. Can you try Battlefield 5? I do not have that game on my benchmark list. I do not have it installed or anything, Nabil, so I won't be trying that one out today. It may be a game I'll add in future, but we'll see. Currently no plans to add it to my benchmark list. Is this laptop able to bypass Optimus, Gaston? Only with an external display. What 3070, 3080 laptop would you recommend for a student? Student and gamer, probably the Aorus 15G. It's one of my go-to recommendations right now, but if you want AMD, you'd probably want to go with one of these like the Strix G15 or the Zephyrus G15. For reviews, if you buy a laptop and test it, do you keep it, return it within something like 30 days? It just depends, wild commenter. Like if I'm buying it for me and I don't like it, sometimes I'll return it, but if I'm buying it just to review it, I'll sell it again or give it away like I did with the Strix G15. It just depends. From laptop to laptop, but the majority of laptops I review are just review units that are sent to me. It's just I only buy them when I have to in order to get the reviews done in time, because I much prefer just to use review units, right? It's just why spend money and deal with all that hassle if I can have a review unit instead. So 308 FPS. Ooh, that's higher. Isn't that high? That's higher, isn't it? Than the Strix. Impressive. Very nice. Okay, on to the next game. I think the Strix only had, was it 240? I think. That's a pretty big difference. All right. Flight simulator time. Highly recommend the Aorus 15G as a student. I think it certainly seems like I've loved the Aorus laptops I've owned in the past. I've really liked them, so, and all of them still work. So I don't know. The Aorus lineup is certainly one that I can recommend from past experience, though I have not had the Aorus 15G in hand yet at all. So, is the G15 trackpad from glass? I'm not sure if it's glass trackpad. It probably is, but it's very smooth, high quality trackpad. I need to actually read their descriptions to be able to find out if that's glass. All right, is it still worth it despite the cut in core count? Cyberpunk, are you talking about? What are you talking about? Is what still worth it? You gotta say what it is. Is the SCAR 17 with a 3070 worth it over the Strix G17? Sword, it just depends on if you value the premium features. I keep getting this question. But the SCAR series is definitely a much more premium build, primarily around the lighting setup, honestly. And right now you can also get QHD resolutions on the SCAR series, where you can't get that right now with the Strix G15 and 16 series. But so this has the QHD display, which I think a lot of people would really love. That's honestly probably the biggest tangible difference, is the display difference between the two. What brand do I recommend as the most reliable? I think that almost all these brands have been very reliable from the laptops I've owned. I've had almost no problems, but it just depends, you know. The 3080 has less core counts than the desktop ones. Yes, Salmon, they basically, that's what we kind of do in laptops and desktops. It's like they make the technology more efficient, and then it's really good performance between the desktop and the laptop. Think the 1080 versus laptop versus desktop, and then they increase the TDP, the total power going through everything, again, and then they do it again. So you have like the 2000 series and then the 3000 series, and it's like, unless they increase efficiency by a lot, then we end up I'm trying to explain this while being distracted, but basically, as the TDP goes up, laptops just can't fit that same level of TDP in it, so they have to cut the GPUs down to fit into the laptop. And that's what we got going on with the 3000 series. So you definitely get more bang for the buck with the desktop this year if you go with 3000, but you're still getting a big performance difference between the 2000 and the 3000 series overall. So I'm kind of like in the camp, though, that if you are happy with your performance, why upgrade? If you can authentically get big performance gains going with a new laptop, that's when it's kind of okay to upgrade. We're going to turn off VSync. Render resolution 100%. Okay, so this is going to be a QHD. I don't even know if this is going to play. I'm running this on Ultra, but I'm tempted to start benchmarking this on like medium or low or something, because it's so hard to... This game is one of the most demanding games out there. How is Asus customer service? If you had any experience with them? I have not had much customer service experience with Asus. Custom. So I set this at a specific time, which is 8 p.m. I believe, right? Yeah. Wait, no. I do it on 8 p.m. UTC time. There it is. Okay. And then boom, 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 boom. And for our clouds, we want clear skies. That's fine. Okay. Correct plane. Cool. So we're taking off from Portland. Boom. Here we go. Let's see how... I mean, I'm expecting this thing to not run very well, okay? Like, we're probably talking 20 to 30 FPS. So this is one of the few games right now that's just really not optimized very well. And it's such a high demanding game. You have to probably turn it down lower. Is it worth to get a 3070 over 3060? Probably, Ellie. But it all depends on your budget. Like, you're definitely going to get a gain in performance from a 3060 to 3070, where the gain is very small between a 3070 and 3080. But it's only worth it if you, like, you know, you'll get, if you think you'll take advantage of those additional frames. Which of the Strix has an optical mechanical keyboard? It's the SCAR series, Javier. Like this one that I have, and it's got a nice little click to the keyboard, which I really like. Any issues with thermal throttling on these recently tested laptops? Not on the Strix series. What's your favorite Strix laptop out of all the ones you reviewed so far? Well, I've done the Strix G17 and the SCAR 15, and I'm not done yet reviewing the SCAR 15. But overall, I'm definitely, if I had the money, I'd prefer to go SCAR 15 for sure. How much faster do you think an RTX 3090 versus 130 laptop RTX 3080? I don't know, Noman. I haven't done the numbers, but I'm sure there's a nice difference, like a substantial difference in performance, without a doubt. Okay, I need to remember the controls. Let's see, I did a little guide to the controls on my benchmark sheet. Okay, looking up these controls. Ah, wrong one. I go back. Okay, here we are. Ah, that's not a good enough guide. Where's the one that I had the guide detailed? Oh no. Okay, I should be able to figure out what these keys are. Okay, nice. And we're off. We're going. So when I do this test, what I do is I just have the plane take off from the airport. I don't touch anything. And the plane goes up in the sky, and then as soon as it starts dipping back down, that's when I end the benchmark. So it's like very similar between each run. And I take off from the same airport each time. I gotta say, I'm impressed with this performance, like the same as 1080p. QHD is like the same as 1080p. All right, we're almost at the end of the benchmark run. So it goes up right to there. And now we're coming back down. Okay, so we got 3320 for QHD Flight Simulator. That's higher than this G17 did at 1080p. 3320. And then let's go back and restart this run. What's better, SCAR 15 or SCAR 17? Just depends on if you want more portability or a larger display. I prefer to game on a 17-inch display over a 15-inch display. This does not support Thunderbolt, no, because it's an AMD chassis. There are exceptions, but this is, yeah, you don't really have Thunderbolt on here. Okay, and it's time to switch this to 1080. Where is it? It's under General. Resolution. 1080. Keep changes. Cool. Apply and save. Cool. I gotta say the resolution is a little bit messed up. Let me make sure that we're rendering at 100%. Yeah, we are. Okay, 1080 and rendering. I think this game does not handle the downscaling very well from 1440p to 1080. Okay, so we press this to get our throttle up. And we disengage, and away we go. What do you think about Asus using liquid metal in terms of maintenance? Ellie, I think it's not a problem. As best I can tell, it's not a problem. So I wouldn't really worry about it. And I mean, so far. So far they've demonstrated, like, I believe it won't be a big deal. We're getting the same frame rate. You see that? It's pretty much identical performance. 3122 right now. 3222. Okay. That is interesting. Okay, so there's the end of the benchmark run, 3222. So we're getting, it just shows that this is an extremely CPU bound game where the resolution doesn't even matter. I wonder if 4K would be the same thing, same story. What's the release date? I know it's towards the end of the month. If someone, sorry for someone asked. This has already been released. I ordered this off the store, just like a normal customer. So you just gotta find it in stock somewhere. And if you're looking to find this in stock, you can find it in stock. I have a whole bunch of links in the video description down below to the spreadsheet, which I'll go over sometime in the stream and explain it to everyone. But basically, in that spreadsheet, there's a bunch of different links to where you can potentially buy a bunch of different gaming laptops from all these retailers. Some of those links go to support me as a creator, which I thank you guys very much if you use them. But feel free to use whatever links you can to try to get them in stock. So I understand that it's not in stock on an affiliated link. Just buy it wherever you can. Yeah, okay. Aaron Hernandez is the beast. What? Okay. Would you say thermals are good so far? From what I've seen, they're excellent. Like we're barely pushing temps. I have not been paying very close attention to the thermals since I've been so engaged with chat, but thermals, every time I look up at the thermals, it's like 60 to 75 degrees on, never higher than 75. I don't think I've, but I bet you it's gone above 75 at some points, but I have yet to notice it at above 75. Do you think Razer will do AMD GPU a chance? AMD CPU, GPU a chance in the future products? I think they'll definitely offer AMD, well, I don't know definitely, but I think it's likely that they will offer AMD CPUs at some point. There's just a massive shortage of AMD CPUs right now, so let's go ahead and do QHD to start off with. Very nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply these changes. Make sure we're running on Vulkan. Yep. Cool. Okay. Turn that off. Okay. Now we restart the game to make sure all of these changes took. Do the M.2 slots support PCIe 4? I'm not sure if it's PCIe 4 or not, but I believe they are PCIe. Someone just asked if FreeSync is enabled using the Mux switch on the MSI laptops. Do you know the answer to that one? So FreeSync would be a AMD technology, so it would have to be G-Sync, I believe, if you're using Intel NVIDIA. And I'm not sure, Jason. I have to double check on the GS66. I didn't look close enough. The 10900K desktop better than the 5900HX. Yeah, the desktop 10900K should be better than the 5900HX by just a little bit because it's a 10-core processor, a really high TDP, but it's going to run just so hot, right? So it's not ideally suited to be in a laptop because you need a much beefier, chunkier system. So like your performance per pound will be much better on the 5900HX. The laptop will have better battery life, more versatility. But if you're just after the maximum possible performance and you just want to keep like a laptop on your desk, go with the i9 10900K still. But then again, the new Intel CPUs are around the corner, so you might be able to get an upgrade. I don't know why this says custom. We want it to be maxed. Oh, I think it's going to turn V-Sync. Okay, those changes should be fine. Apparently the GPU is connected to the CPU via PCI Gen 4. I'm not sure, but I believe it's only an 8x connection, original creator. Does the laptop bring a separate webcam in the package? No, Fernando. But you can get a webcam for pretty cheap if you really need one. One like this. I think this one cost me $30. 1080p webcam. Kim says, I'm deciding between the Asus Duo and Flow X13 and the GS66, but the thing is, the mux switch is a big thing because mainly my games are Warzone, Dota 2, mostly FPS online games. Kim, then I think the GS66 is probably an excellent option for you. Another great option will probably be the Aorus 15G, Kim. I feel that one should have a mux switch too. So if you're looking for a little more bang for the buck, I think the GS66 is a bit more premium though than the Aorus with the Windows Hello and an all metal chassis. How is the mechanical keyboard feel in your opinion? I love the keyboard on this laptop. Great keyboard. Seriously, it's one of the best keyboards I've ever used. Taking a look at our temperatures, we're at 41 degrees on our CPU, or 48 degrees on our CPU, 61 on the GPU. This is just starting the benchmark though. Let's see what we get up to. I see a lot of good deals on your spreadsheet with an i7-10750H. Should I hold off and wait for AMD instead? I'm mostly game with the laptop. So if all you do is game, Jason, then I don't think there's any reason to not buy Intel, aside from the fact that it's just going to run a little hotter. Like, as long as you can get a good deal on an Intel processor and you just want to play games, Intel's still great for that. So it's just going to run hotter, probably not have as low good a battery life as if you got an AMD chassis. But yeah, so it just all comes down to I think the price to performance ratio when it comes down to Intel versus AMD. Like, don't get an overpriced Intel if possible. Try to get at least good a deal if you go with Intel. I thought it's 360 hertz. No, this is a QHD 165 hertz, but they do have an option for a 360 hertz display on the SCAR series. But it just depends on which model you get. Isn't it weird for the Asus ROG Strix G15 and G17 to be the same price? David, not really, because they have very similar internals. They like changed the chassis to be bigger, and then they add a bigger screen. But oftentimes they're reusing a lot of the internal heat pipes and designs to save cost and cut cost. And that's why they can offer them at the same price. And quite frankly, the cooling systems on the 15 and 17-inch versions should be equally fantastic, or at least very, very close. Pre-order the Strix G17 but won't ship till March. Should I cancel and wait for the Lenovo Legion instead? Well, if it's not going to ship till March, you'll probably be able to see what Lenovo offers, and then I would say just waiting to see what Lenovo officially offers before you decide. I've got to make sure I'm ready to put my 1% low calculations here. There we go. Should I be concerned that the GPU's PCI bus is only 8x? I don't think that's been a problem, 91, because I mean, if you look at the performance, we're getting great performance. So I think that's what really matters. What's the performance numbers actually looks like. Which one would you suggest? 3070 Max P with a mux switch, or 3080 Max Q with a mux switch? So if you're doing esports games, Kim Garcia, the number one thing is what CPU you have usually, because esports games are usually very CPU bound because they're really just optimized for lower end GPUs. So like if you hook if you want the best esports setup, what I would say is probably go with something like the Strix G17 or 15. And then use an external monitor with a USB-C cable. And then you'll have really high CPU-bound game performance through that Ryzen 9 5900HX. And you don't need to worry about a mux switch in that situation, except when you're gaming on the internal laptop display, because that's when you're going to see the reduced performance from NVIDIA Optimus. But if you have an external display, that I think is kind of like the best of both worlds, to me at least. Really great performance here. Especially for QHD. All ultra settings, QHD on all ultra. So we're about to end this. About to end this test as soon as he crosses the street. Our temps are 71 on the GPU, 60 on the CPU. Really, really great temps. And we're also hitting our max TDP of 130. Okay, so we got 6356. $63.56 for Red Dead Redemption with QHD. $63.56. Very nice. Those, I think that's very nice numbers overall. I'm really curious how that's going to hold up to the 3070. I'm going to have to probably retest my Strix G17 with an external monitor and see how it does. The problem is then it'll be bypassing Optimus, so it won't be a very fair comparison to this one. Let's go down to 1080p and see how this game handles the resolution change. Ooh, do you see that? We can't run full screen. We probably have to be doing borderless window in order to make this work. The game crashed. Oh man. Okay, let's try running the game again. See if it loads correctly. I don't think it's gonna work though. That's interesting. Did you guys see that flash? I think that's because of the GPU switching. Let me just let me go here and we'll just GPU mode off. Okay, so it's already set to be off, so that's not it. That was an interesting flash. Vedalada. Awesome. I actually put my spare 3070 in an eGPU for my GS65 with a 1070 Max Q. I'll be traveling to Seattle soon. I'm so happy I kept it. Okay. And that's cool. That's cool, man. eGPUs are pretty freaking baller in the right situation, especially if hooked to an external display. Okay, so we're probably going to just have to run this with our full screen scaling messed up. See what the performance is like. So one way to bypass this would be to change the native resolution in Windows down to 1080 temporarily. Since the 15 and 17 are the same price, you mentioned that the cooling would be the same. Is there any performance benefits for going with the larger size model? Black Sheep, I don't think there's going to be much of a performance difference between the two. I think they're going to be very similar. If anything, they might have to extend the heat pipes to be just a little longer to fit in that 17-inch chassis. But that's going to be extremely minimal. The simple fact is, the big advantage to the 17-inch is just the increased screen real estate and a larger keyboard. Those are the big things, I think. But the downside is it's bigger, less portable. Wouldn't the 17-inch chassis have better cooling with more area? Jason, from the screenshots I've seen between the 15 and 17-inch versions, they're very similar on the heat pipe setup at least. But there might be a slight increase in cooling in the 17-inch, but it's just, I think if the heat pipes are very similar, it's very likely that they would be very, very similar. Is ZTech PC a credible site to pre-order laptops? Yes, it is. I do know the guy that manages it. He's a friend of mine. He definitely is a quality guy. He came from HID Evolution. So that said, they should probably improve their website a bit. And I think but in terms of delivering a good product, I think they should be a reliable place to buy from. Are there any other Asus laptops on the way that you haven't unboxed yet? I've got an Asus Flow X13 that Asus says they will send my way at some point. I would like to I'd like to review the larger version of the SCAR and SCAR lineup too. And the Zephyrus Duo. I want to do all of the Asus laptops this year. give me everything. Great stream. Very interested to keep up with these. I want a 30 series laptop, but I know I spent $2,000 on the MSI GS65 in 2018 and should make it last. Yeah, man. Yeah, there's no reason to. If you're happy with the frame rates you're getting and the games you like playing, no reason to upgrade, man. That's kind of the way I'd say take a look at it. Just curious about the thermal upgrades offered by Exotic. Thermal paste and pad specifically. Do you think these upgrades are necessary? Zach, certainly not in this lineup. Whether they're going to be worth it is going to vary from computer and manufacturer to manufacturer. Okay, get our 1% lows. Come on, there we go. All right. How do you think this will compare with the Alienware M15R4 with Intel? So I think the Alienware M15R4 will be way hotter running. Like the Intel CPU is just going to saturate the heat pipes, any of the shared heat pipes, and therefore that's also going to make the GPU run hotter. But the Alienware will have a direct connection to the display on the internals. So you're going to get way higher frame rates in esports titles on the internal display. But that may vary depending on which model of the Alienware you get too. So I've got a contact now with Dell. I need to verify which laptops they offer with a MUX, or which ones don't have a MUX, which ones maybe have an Optimus or Advanced Optimus, or just a direct connect to the display. And I'll add that to my spreadsheet when I get time. So just know that that's coming to the spreadsheet soon, but just not there yet. I finally got in contact with someone from Dell yesterday. We're trying to set up a time to meet. What's up, Jared? There's a robbery going on in the benchmark. I'm calling the police. Thanks, Jared, for always making me laugh. That's hilarious. Okay, so I see someone typed in Cesar. How do you think the SCAR 15 with RTX 3070 Ryzen 7 5800H 1 terabyte will compare to this model with the Ryzen 9 and 3080. I think the GPU will be a very small performance difference. I think the CPU performance difference will vary depending on how Asus sets up that Ryzen 7 5800H's TDP. If they set the TDP to be just as high as this one, then the performance will be very, very similar. Okay, so we got 8172. Damn. I can't remember what the SCAR 15 or the Strix G17 got. I think it got in the 70s. So not a massive difference, I don't think. Interesting. I have to double check. At the end of the stream, I'll take a look at this G17 benchmarks real quick and just kind of do a quick eye glance and see which ones I think are noticeable. Kind of do that evaluation of 3070 versus 3080, but I'm not going to really be able to tell until I get all the graphs and everything, mapped out. Time to hop into Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Dun 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 dun. How will this go against the 2021 Lenovo Legion 7? I think that just all depends on what prices the Lenovo prices the Legion 7 at. I think this could compete really, really well with it. Or it might be better to go with the Lenovo lineup if the Lenovo lineup is a little cheaper. So we're just setting everything to highest with RTX off. Cool. Let's play. Do you think the performance difference between the Zephyrus G15 and the SCAR 15 is worth dropping the extra money for? So many people asking this question. I've answered this question like 4 times this stream. Go with the SCAR 15 if you want more performance, higher TDPs. Go with the Zephyrus if you want something that's more portable and close-ish to the same performance. He's testing Warzone later in the stream. Yeah, I've got Warzone coming up. Indeedy-do. It is on the to-do list. All of these look good. Here we go. QHD on Ultra. Let's see what we get. These look the same performance as my 2080 Super 200 watt. Yeah, it's pretty similar to that, JC. From what I've seen, a lot of the 2080 Supers with the really high wattage are pulling pretty similar numbers, right? And that's just because this is a lower TDP. There's only 130 watt 3080. But it's going to depend so much on the game too. And keep in mind, this has a Optimus bottlenecking everything, and we'll get a good chunk more performance out of this machine when hooked up with an external display, because we do not have a MUX switch on this one. I'm guessing your 3080 with a 200 watts doesn't, has a direct connect probably to the display, or at least a MUX switch. So Are the fans this loud? Are loud on this bad boy? So Jaden, if you run them on max fans, they can get pretty loud, which is what I have them on right now. But if you just set them on turbo or performance mode, the fans are very reasonable, in my opinion. Not bad at all. Let me go grab a thing to drink while this is running. Noman says, I like your energy. You're the most laptop guy I've seen besides me. Dude, I have loved laptops my whole life. I got my first laptop when I was only like 10-ish, about 10, 8, 9, 10-ish. My dad gave me his old laptop. He was a computer programmer. And my mom took the laptop off the coffee table and set it on the carpet to clean the coffee table. She didn't know it was still on, and it literally melted itself on the inside. And I was like the saddest little kid you'd ever meet. I think it had Windows 3.1 on that laptop. Had the little nub for the mouse. That was the only mouse it had on it. But hey, it was a laptop, and I could play like super basic old MS-DOS games on it, and so I loved the crap out of that thing. This is a QHD, Francisco. We're running our QHD benchmarks, and then we're switching everything to full HD at the same time to give us both benchmark numbers. So we got 92 for QHD. This is a game where I would guess we're going to get lower than average because of NVIDIA Optimus bottlenecking everything. We are not on the same. Let's say we're not at the right resolution. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Cool. All right, we should be good to go. Ping pong game. Well, it was like Jazzy Jackrabbit and like Prince of Persia. And it was like tanks. Like there's this old tanks game you play. There's just lots of old little arcadey type games like the race game, Dig Dug. And then once we got Windows 95, we could play like NBA Live 1996. I would like sneak out at like 3 in the morning to go play on the family computer. I had made this character that was like 7'9" or something, and I named him and made me try to make him look like me, but I named him my own name. So I had Brandon Baldwin in the game, and I made his stats like 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, and he could just like drain full court 3-pointers in the game. So I would do like seasons, and I would try to beat the computer on hard. On the hard difficulty setting. It was I loved it. I was only like, I was super young, right? Like 9, 10. And it was like my first true gaming experiences. So you can see we're pushing 37 watts right now on the CPU, 71 on the degrees Celsius, 71 on the GPU. So We're not even busting past 75 degrees on the CPU and GPU on this laptop. It's insane, especially for a 15-inch chassis. Is this better than the Zephyrus for Roblox? I don't know. Oh my god, man, I played the heck out of Prince of Persia. Yeah, I didn't really play that game very much. That was one of the games that I played a little bit. I think I had played it at like a friend's house or something because we didn't own it. Did anyone play SimCity 2000? Would this 115 watt 3080 offer more performance than the 150 watt 3080 XG mobile eGPU? Good question. If you're gaming on the internal display with the Flow X13, I don't know. We need to do more testing, but at least on first appearance, it seems like this is performing a little bit better than the XG Mobile 150 watt. But if you hook the XG Mobile up to an external display, I bet you the performance difference the advantage might go to the Flow X13 through an external display, not the internal display. I played original SimCity in 2000. Man, I had the floppy disks for SimCity. You had to like do like 5 of them or something. And we would make the city, right? That was like my sister and I. We would make this city that was like super populous, like super popular, right? And then we would save it, and then we would just attack it with like aliens and tornadoes and fires. We'd set fire. We'd just destroy the city after we make it. So that was like that was the funnest part to us. Like growing it, and then managing it. It was super fun. Loved that game. So what did we get for 1080? 111. All right. I am not going to play Minecraft or Roblox. Sorry, guys. How's this looking so far? Ian Hubble, it's looking pretty good. It's just we'll have to see. We'll have to see at the end. I'm gonna do a comparison. Pull up the 3070 stats from the past live stream benchmarks, so we can compare some of the numbers here at the end of the stream. We've got how many more benchmarks do we got? We got Watch Dogs, Fortnite, Warzone, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant. So, and then we got Cinebench. So we got another 45 minutes to an hour probably, and then we'll do that comparison. Man, this new mobile CPU is insane. Yeah, especially for the temperatures, right? That's the thing. It's like I feel like we could put through so much more wattage through this CPU than what we're putting through there, because it's just we're getting such low temps. It's like, well, why can't we just go up to 105 watts or something? Because we're only at 70 degrees with 80. Let us go a little higher, please. When is this lap going to be available to buy? It's already available to buy. You can check the spreadsheet. Link in the video description if you want to shop around and see what places might have it in stock. Right now, I don't think any places have this in stock, but it is already available to buy. The Zephyrus G15 LE is already available right now. I think if you check my spreadsheet, there should be a link. It was in stock at Best Buy this morning when I checked. And if you do buy through that Best Buy link, it does help support the channel because it's an affiliated link, so thank you. I have this pre-ordered on the Amazon and HID Evolution, seeing who ships first. Watch, they both ship same day. And then you end up getting in trouble, Ian. Why is it impossible to manually increase the wattages? Is there a way to manually do it even if you want to sacrifice portability? So, Mohammed, the big thing about increasing wattages on the CPU and GPU is that you're basically running too much voltage through the motherboard, more than it's intended, and you're risking blowing the motherboard, the VRMs on the motherboard, basically. So I wouldn't recommend trying to bypass it like that. I'm pretty sure if you busted it, if it got broken because you did that, you would not be covered under any warranty for any company, which makes sense, right? Because you're manually going above what it's rated to do. Okay, are we ready? I think so. High, we got our settings here. On ultra, we're ready to go, I think. I didn't check what resolution, but I'm pretty sure we're on QHD. We'll do the other resolution in a second. I forgot to ask, how are the temps with the GS66 you reviewed with the Intel chip? Kim, you can check my review. I have the whole section on my review with the stress tests. So the CPU did throttle under certain loads, but the GPU had good temps. So it just depends. What is this game? This is Rainbow Six Siege, and it looks like we're getting enough FPS to max out the resolution, which is good. Does TGP matter when it comes to rendering and animation? Yeah, it does, I believe. Joey, you'll get more raw performance the higher the TDP you have, or TGP. Yeah, the fan is on max, is it here? We got max fans right now. My first computer was a Pentium 4 in 2003. Nice. Yeah, I kept getting my dad's old laptops when I was growing up, because my dad was a computer programmer. So I'd be able to, like, whenever his laptop was basically trash, he'd just give it to me or my sister instead. Which was pretty awesome for us. Okay, so we got 189. We must have been on a QHD. So the great thing about 189 is that that's enough to completely max out the frame rate of this 165 Hz QHD display. Let's go to full HD. Oh, I forgot to check. What was the 1% low? Let's go. I should have it in the... Watch the replay here. Looks like 147. 148. Cool. That's a good 1% low. All right. Let's go ahead and change this down to 1080p. What is this? It's not letting me change the refresh rate, which is weird. I might need to change my default resolution. Let's go ahead and drop this down to 1080. So I mean, as you can see, we have very, like, this thing looks very good still at 1080p. Like, it looks, I would say it looks almost native. Like, it's really hard to tell the difference at 1080p versus QHD. So if you're someone that doesn't like QHD or wants to run QHD only some of the time, I think this display will work well for you. I think the 17.3 inch will have more screen real estate with the QHD option for multiple apps. Yeah, that's definitely true, Joey. The 17 inch will be able to take advantage of that QHD display better. In the future, can you do live benchmarks for the Tough Dash F15? Yeah, Mohammed, I'm planning to do a benchmark session of that one at some point. So just got to be patient for that to come in. Can you please ask Asus about the Zephyrus G15 with the RTX 3060? Need more info and release price. Carlos, that's a good idea, actually. I don't know. I don't know yet. I got the Asus ROG SCAR last gen, but 2080 Super Intel 10875 32 gigs RAM. Would you recommend me upgrade, as I would get significant more FPS, or just wait for one? I don't know, Barack. That's going to depend up to you. I think mainly it's going to depend on what price you got that at. If you got a really good deal on a 2080 Super, why not keep it? I mean, but that's the main thing. If you didn't get a good price, then yeah, I would say consider swapping out. Okay, very nice. VSync off. 1080p. 100% render. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this thing gets at 1080. Was the G17 thermals as good as the SCAR 17 thermals? I think they're going to have pretty similar thermal sword, but I'm not sure yet. We need to do more testing. We need to have the exact same testing methodology be used on the 17-inch and the 15-inch version, which I've yet to see. So, Peter, hey Gizmo, I just want to thank you for hosting these live streams. You're helping a lot of us nerds decide on a laptop. Yeah. I mean, hey man, I've been right there with you, trying to figure out what laptop to buy. And honestly, I'm right there with you right now. Like, I don't know which laptop I want to use for 2021. I'm trying to figure it out. 17-inch QHD would be perfect. Yeah, I think that's right there. That's the sweet spot, right? You can easily tell the difference in resolution and experience in your games, as well as text on the display. So, the 15-inch version, I think it's a lot harder to tell. Unless you have really good eyesight. I'm hoping for the performance with an external monitor. It gives me a solidification choosing this over the GE76 for esports titles. I mainly play on an external monitor and use it for work anyway. Yeah, man, I mean, if you play with an external monitor, I'd say go with the Strix lineup, without a doubt. I think it's cheaper. It's gonna provide just as much, if not more, performance in esports titles. There we go, 265. Cool. Oh, I didn't do my 1% lows. We gotta run it again. Fail. So far, which one is the best laptop under 2K so far? Probably the Strix G 17 or 15, or the Aorus 15G with a 3080. Thanks, brother. Keep up the awesome work. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate all your guys' support and kind words. Like, honestly, is what keeps me going, making all these videos. It's really good having positive feedback on the content, you know? So, why don't they market the Strix SCARs for serious creator and 3D works? Joey, I think they can or do, but really because of all the RGBs, not that many professionals, I guess, go for that, especially if they can get slightly cheaper, less RGBified for more of a business professional vibe. I don't know. I guess that's probably why. They're marketing it to the edgy kids. Mr. Sir, which laptop is the best overall? You got to talk price points, man. There's like, you got to go for like best laptop under $1,300, best laptop under $1,800, best laptop under $2,500. I don't know. You got to give me price points because it's hard to say which one's the best overall at this point. Okay, so what do we get? 215? I think 215 was the 1% low. Just watch the instant replay. Yeah, 215 was our 1% low. Cool. And let's see what our average was with that run. $263, so we'll just average that to 264 with the last one. Cool, cool, cool. Let's hop into The Witcher. Best laptop under 2000? Probably the Strix G17 or the Aorus 15G, Strix G15. Those are probably the ones to go for. I believe the Aorus 15G has a mux switch, which is one of the better ones. You can get that with a 3080 for 2000, 32 gigs of RAM. Really great deal. It seems like I need to do a review on it though, to know for sure, so just know that I haven't reviewed that yet. Okay, let's check our settings. So we want everything on high, and then here we go ultra, and we turn off Hairworks. Boom, boom, and we load up this one. Of all the laptops you've tested, most preferably 30 series, which would be the recommended for under $1,500? For $1,400, I would say get the Strix G15 or Strix G17, or the 3060. If you want something more portable, I think there will be a 3060 Zephyrus G15. And I believe there's also an Aorus 15G with a 3060 for 1500, so that's another great option. There's a lot of great options actually around that price point. So I just always run over here to just load all the textures and game world in for a second. And then we run back. So you average 260 plus FPS for Rainbow Six Siege, and your screen is 165 hertz. Won't that cause screen tearing? No, Kim, that won't cause screen tearing because this has adaptive sync, so it syncs the frame rates right into the display. So not a problem. And I think, and generally speaking, I prefer to have as much frame rate as possible in a game so that frame times are as quick as possible, especially in competitive games. So, yeah. Ramon says, thanks for the $5, Ramon. Just sent you an email, told you, let's see here. Just sent you that email you told me about last time. Remember the 3ds Max and F-Storm testing? Thank you for the great work, by the way. Okay, cool, man. I'll try to take a look at it and see whether it's something I should add to my benchmarks in the future. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this test underway. Chicka chicka boom boom. Through the gate, over the gap, and into the water. Back to the surface. And now we swim into the shore. What's the difference between the Strix and the SCAR? The SCAR is much more premium, like a keyboard. You get a keypad on the... You get a keypad built into the touchpad, and then you get more premium lights, brighter LEDs. Cool. So we got 103.92. That's really high, 1% low, but this is that's impressive, 1% low. Okay, so this is QHD, I believe, and we got 103.92. Cool. Let's go ahead and do our full HD test. So, video, graphics, 1080. Keeping that, yep. Load. Boom. Okay. Gizmo, be honest, what do you think of Jared? I think he's a great reviewer, man. He does a really thorough job benchmarking everything. And I like his quirky sense of humor sometimes. Which one do you recommend, the Zephyrus G15 3070 or Strix G17 3070? The Strix G17 is one I'd recommend if you want performance, the Zephyrus if you want portability. I'm coming from a 2070 Max Q Electronics Mag 15, and I'm really interested in a 30 series, but don't know what to upgrade I can get for a 2070 for $1,500 price point. Yes, SCAR Roddick, I would say you probably want to go up to an $1,800 price point and get a 3070 if you want to get a good upgrade from a 2070, or like an upgrade that'll be like clearly worth the money and clearly worth the change. Because going up to a 3060 only is like, it might not be that noticeable of a jump, comparatively speaking. Jared sucks, 0 to 10. So Jared, I think that was you asking about yourself earlier, right? You just really wanted to know the truth about you. Like that was, you're coordinating with another account. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's see what we get in The Witcher 3 1080p. Huzzah. Do you know Linus Tech Tips? I met Linus one time at CES like 2 years ago. But I don't think he knows who I am or remembered me, probably. Because it was just a really brief meeting. I have $1,800 to $2,000. Which laptop would be best? Probably either the Strix G17 or the Aorus 15G. Most likely at that price point. So 134, 117. Do you know the former President Obama? Is that on the same level as Linus? Like, we got Obama right here. We got Linus up here. Okay, is that all the games here? I think that's all the games from Steam. So it's time to load up. Time to close Steam out and open up Epic Games. So we got the Fortnite and we got Watch Dogs. And then we've got Apex Legends and Call of Duty Warzone. Do you recommend the Strix for running CAD programs? Javier, I believe it will run CAD programs really well, but I have not tested it. I'm not an expert on CAD performance. I would say look for more reviews if you want to know detailed numbers and like shop, you know, because I'm not sure how optimized it is for Intel versus AMD. Is there any reason you don't have CPU temps on? Sarcotic CPU temps are on. They're on the layer. You probably gotta look one row lower, or at least they should be on. Yeah, they should be on. So, doing an external display today. Ian Hubble, probably not. That would probably just make the live benchmark session way too long. Then again, maybe that's not a bad thing. RZ cool. I like Dave 2D the most. Recently found your channel amazing too. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I ordered a G17i9 10980 HK 2080 Super. Should I cancel and wait for Ryzen 5000 and NVIDIA 3000? But not sure when to launch in India. That's up to you, Matru Prasad Patra. That's just like, it's gonna be a tough. That's gonna, you know, I don't know what availability is gonna be like in India long term, right? So that's probably one of your biggest decision makers. What do you recommend? Greetings from Chile. Keep up the great work. You got to give me more than that if you want me to recommend something. You got to give me a price point and size of laptop or something. Do you think the 3080 for laptops will have a higher TDP, maybe 160 watts? Kenjay, it just depends on which model you go with. Because this one is 130 watts, but other manufacturers, like in the GE76, they have 255 or 155 watts. So Carlos says, for those looking about CAD work, the AMD R5 4500U destroys my i7 10875 in terms of CPU performance. Interesting. Okay, well then if that's the case, then almost for sure this laptop will be great for CAD. Okay, so we go to the Ultra preset, and then we turn RTX to Ultra. Wait, are we on? We're on 1440p, so we're going to set Ultra preset, RTX to Ultra, DLSS to balanced. So that's why I'm doing my QHD tests. And then on 1080p, we do our DLSS on quality instead. Would you recommend or would you consider the Strix G15 3070 to be portable laptop? And is it better than the Zephyrus G15? It'll definitely give you more performance, Carlos. It's going to be a higher TDP. And I would still consider it to be pretty portable, but the Zephyrus is definitely like more portable because you have a smaller power adapter. It's much thinner. It's going to be lighter. Lots of reasons to go Zephyrus if you need portability. Hey Gizmo, I'm trying to run the CSGO benchmark for the Aorus 15 G3080 to get the results on whether it's Optimus or as a mux switch, but the results don't show up in the end. Vlad, you've got to just enable the console. So if you go to the general options, you got to hit enable developer console, and then it'll pop up in the console with the final result. So right now we're doing QHD, RTX to Ultra, DLSS to balanced. And we're getting almost exactly the same frames as when we run it at 1080p, but it's in QHD resolution. So my max price is $3,000, and I do video editing. I know AMD is best buy, but they feel like they're hard to find. It would be better to go for a good AMD, or can an Intel 3080 be a good choice? I think for video editing specifically, an Intel 3080 can be a good choice because of Intel Quick Sync can enhance like rendering speed in Premiere specifically. That's not going to be true for most applications though. So it just depends. That said, I'm still getting the fastest render times with a Ryzen 5900 HX. So I would still recommend that. 5645 for Watch Dogs QHD. Let's see here. So Watch Dogs. Quality, where's Watch Dogs? So we're in balance and then quality. Okay, so QHD, we got 5645. And then for full screen, let's see what we get. Whoop, there goes my phone. On your spreadsheet, it says the 3080 Max Q is better than the 3070 Max P, but which one would you play better? So Finna, it just depends. Like the 3070 Max P versus 3080 Max Q, there's just a wide range of TDP, so you really got to look at it at a laptop by laptop basis. Like, is it an 80 watt 3080 Max Q? Or is it like a 105 watt 3080 Max Q? Like, that's a pretty big difference in TDP, and all of those would be considered Max Q technically, probably. But that's kind of why the whole Max Q, Max P thing has been kind of thrown out the window by NVIDIA. Yeah. Okay, so our display resolution, we're going to drop this down to 1080. And again, I can barely tell a difference in terms of sharpness. It still looks very sharp to my eyes, at least. And then we're going to set this to quality DLSS instead of balanced. And now we're going to run things again. Shabam. Okay, what do you recommend under 2K? I have an ROG Strix SCAR 2 RTX to 2070 and an Intel 8750H. So Miguel, my top recommendations are the Strix SCAR G17 and the Aorus 15G with the 3080 for under 2K, or the Strix G15 as well. Why doesn't anyone but Razer or Gigabyte have full-size F keys? What do you mean? Pretty sure they're full-size. Are you talking about the F1, F2, F3? These are full-sized. They're actually even spaced on this keyboard. When are you reviewing laptops? When are you reviewing the new Alienware laptops? Antonio, it's gonna depend on when Dell. I've got a meeting with Dell sometime soon to get them to send me some stuff. So we'll see what time they end up sending me. Hopefully within the next month I'll have Alienware reviews up. I really like the Zephyrus design and feel, but I'm worried I'll miss out on a lot of performance compared to the Strix G15. Any thoughts? Ellie, the main thing that really matters is, can you play the games you want to play at good frame rates? And if you can do that with the Zephyrus lineup and be more portable, then just go with that. But if you're like, I really want to get the maximum possible frame rate in this specific game, and you can get accessible more performance by going with the Strix lineup instead of the Zephyrus, that's when I would say consider carrying the more weight, right? So and once I get my full reviews done with the Zephyrus and the SCAR and the Strix, we'll get a much better idea of the difference in performance from the TDP differences. Okay, so we got 6247. Again, not a huge difference. I don't think that's a big difference between the RTX 3070 and 3080. But this is also 1080p, so more CPU mount. Okay. Cool. Probably not. Every time I spend time on Oris, it gets like -5 views. It's kind of true. Oris videos don't get as much views, but I don't want to change that because this year, at least, they're extremely competitively priced. So I think they'll get more views than last time. I wonder at $1,800 if the GS66 3060 Mux with the Zephyrus, which will be faster. The GS66 will be faster in CPU-bound games almost for sure, even with the 3060. Like games like CSGO, Fortnite, and stuff like that. You'll get better performance, but in GPU-bound games, the Strix will just crush that GS66 probably. So games like Cyberpunk, Red Dead Redemption, the 3070, and the TDP advantage will just give you a lot more performance. I guess that is with the Zephyrus though, isn't it? So yeah. Okay, I've seen bad reviews on the Asus TUF F15 due to the processor. Do you think it'll be fine for gaming? Will it still be better than the Ryzen 3750H? So Jason, I would say really take the reviews for the TUF F15 right now with a big grain of salt, because I don't think those reviewers, all the reviews so far that I've seen of the Asus TUF did not test what happens when you hook it up to an external display. And I believe NVIDIA Optimus is really bottlenecking things in the reviews I saw for the TUF. I think you'll get a lot more performance if you hook it up to an external display. So we'll see. But overall, I think the thing with the TUF is that it's got such a thin chassis, and it's so reasonably priced. That's just like why it kind of blows my mind. It's kind of like the Zephyrus system is super thin and light, and yet they're not charging like a crazy performance premium for it. That said, you're not going to get nearly as much multi-core performance because it's only a 4-core Intel. But again, for the price, it just seems so competitive. But we need to obviously do lots more tests and everything. So we need to go to full screen. Looks like it's defaulting to 1080p, unlimited. We want 3D resolution to be 100%. View distance, we go to epic. Shadows go off, anti-aliasing off. Textures can go to epic. Effects go to low. So basically, whenever I test a esports type title, I always just set everything to low, except for things like textures, usually. Low or off. Okay, turn that on. Latency flash DLSS off. Okay. Apply. Keep these video settings. Okay, now we have to restart the game because we changed to DX12. Okay, any reason for manufacturers to not include full-size F keys? I think you're talking about the F1, F2, F3. Dude, I think they are full-size. I don't know what you're talking about, Remy. Sorry. I've seen bad reviews on the Asus TUF due to the i7 processor. Do you think it would be fine for gaming? Jason, I think I just answered this question, but I think it'll be great for gaming still. Or at least good enough for this price point. Because it's just so competitively priced for what you're getting. I need to do a full review on it though. That's just my initial impressions based on the specs. Current reviews do not take into account NVIDIA Optimus. Would the SCAR 17 be better than the SCAR 15 in any way? The main thing you get is a different keyboard layout and a larger display to be able to play games on. I much prefer gaming on a 17-inch than a 15-inch display, Kenjay. Is the Strix and Zephyrus upgradable RAM and SSD-wise? Does the Strix have USB-C charging? All of the ROG laptops have USB-C charging, I believe, Carlos, this year. And the main difference between upgrading the RAM is that the Zephyrus has half the RAM soldered on, so you cannot upgrade it. Where the Strix lineup usually has all of the RAM being accessible for upgrades. I have been told that the Razer blades are not that good, but is that true? No, I think the Razer blades are good. It's just much more premium focus. You're paying a little bit extra to get the premium, and then you're also getting a lower overall TDP because of the thinner chassis. Okay, did all of the settings take? It looks like they did. We're ready to do the 1080p test. So to do this test, we go into Battle Lab. Yes, we hit play. It should ask us where we want to spawn. And I think, is it Dirty Docks? Holly Hedges, Misty Meadows, Craigie Cliffs? I don't think it's Dirty Docs. I think it's Holly Hedges. I'm just starting this whole thing out. Okay. I'm in the market for a new gaming laptop. My budget is around $1,700, but I don't know what to get. Shall I get a QHD 165Hz rather than 1080p 300Hz, which we'll never utilize fully? Rami, it just depends on which games you play. Like if you play competitive esports titles, you can take advantage of the 300Hz, like in games like CSGO, Fortnite, stuff like that, Apex Legends. But a lot of titles will never take advantage of that. 165Hz will be enough for the vast majority of people, I think. Well, what happened? Why didn't we load in? Did I miss something? That was weird. Are online stores that upgrade laptops before shipping them trustworthy? I'm afraid they might send over a used or refurbished laptop. I think they're trustworthy, Sword. Plus, if you're ordering one of these new 3000 series, they're not going to be able to have time anyway to mess with the laptop, because there's no refurbished of any of these new laptops. But you definitely want to do a trusted site, I think, if possible. Like HID Evolution is probably the most trusted, I would say. Okay, so this is the little test I run right here for Fortnite. Just let it sit here and average for like a minute. What about action RPGs like Diablo and Path of Exile, 300Hz or 165Hz QHD? I would go 165Hz QHD for games like that. They're not so much Twitch shooters or anything. A 150 watt 3080 beats a 3060 Ti desktop. I think once a 200 watt comes around, it'll be a 3070 desktop level. Yeah, I think so too, Poo-Pool. That should be pretty accurate. Or at least it'd be very close, because I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the 3080 200 watt actually beats a 3070, because I think it has more CUDA cores, I believe. I'm not sure. I need to check all the specs on that again, but it'll be a close run for sure. You think connecting a dock through the USB-C display port in the Strix for multiple monitor support will improve performance? Yeah, it should, because you're bypassing Optimus. Do you think the Sears ROG laptops are cooling very well? Yeah, they're cooling extremely well, because the AMD CPU is not putting much heat into the rest of the heat pipes, which allows for the CPU and GPU basically to not produce that much heat, and we end up getting great temperatures overall. I mean, look what we're getting right now, 68 and 66. I mean, below 70 for both. It's pretty great. That's insanely good for a laptop. And it allows you to turn the fan noise way down. So at the same time, I have full speed fans going right now. And I don't need to run full speed fans if I didn't want to. I could run them on lower speeds and still have good temperatures, which bodes really well for these laptops, you know. All right, let's check what full H. Wait, that is full HD. Oops. We gotta go to QHD now. I don't imagine this will be a big difference in performance, because it's a very CPU-bound game. Okay, we lost 40 FPS or something like that. Does this SCAR have a max Q or max P design? This is a max P design, 130 watts. But you can see right now, because this is a CPU-bound game, we're not even getting a full load on the GPU. We're going to hitting 103, 104 watts right now. Interestingly enough, we're only hitting 45 watts on the CPU, and it's just optimization in the game. Epic needs to... I mean, pretty much all BRs, Battle Royale games, are kind of not optimized super well from my experience. XMG Neo can boost to 150 watts, so it's way better. Pool, the thing is, like, if you watch Jared's text review, the XMG Neo 15, or the Mech 15 G3, same laptop, the problem with that is that it doesn't, like, the GPU wattage does not maintain 150 watts sustainably. I think Jared averaged only 122 watts sustained load, which that's with a CPU and GPU load at the same time. And this laptop does 111 watts sustained load, GPU, CPU, but it has more wattage being directed to the CPU at the same time. It was like 54 watts versus, I think, 45 watts. So It's like the same total watts going through the system between the two. So we have to actually get real performance numbers comparing them in actual games, really. And I think the big thing about that one is that it does have a mux switch, which is going to really perform. It's really going to boost CPU-bound game performance with that chassis compared to this one. So that's where the performance difference really will lie, I think. Okay, so there's our Fortnite numbers. Let's get Warzone pulled up. I tested the 3070 one, so it's 140 watt max. The 3080 model has a 150 watt cap, or 135, I guess, without boost. That's true, Jared. That's true. So that has a 10 watt higher potential boost, and it got about 10 watts higher in a dual load. So certainly, I think that chassis has a lot of potential. But I will say that it's not nearly as premium. Like, I can already tell the SCAR series is just way more premium of a chassis. And if you like RGB, RGB makes things run faster, right? Am I going to test Apex Legends as well? Yeah, we're going to test Apex Legends too. I don't like Intel chips. What can you recommend for someone who plays Warzone and wants the highest possible FPS? Well, in the internal screen, any price is okay. So I think the Aorus 15G Kim has a mux switch. So that should give you really good performance. Probably like that Aorus 15G at $2,000 should give you. Oh, you don't like Intel chips? That's right. So that's an Intel chip. The Mech 15G3. It's something from electronics. They have the Ryzen chips with a mux switch. And I think the new Lenovo laptops that are going to be coming out soon will have a mux switch probably. So you could wait a little bit, wait like a month and see what Lenovo comes out with. Acer might have a mux switch in some of their stuff. We don't know. In the next couple months, we're going to get a lot more laptops in. So certainly, yeah, a mux switch is a pure positive in terms of performance for sure, but it does add some negativity in the sense that you're like, I want the most performance, so I'm going to keep the mux switch on at all times. And then anytime you want a good battery life, you have to do a full system restart, which can be really annoying. So in that sense, I really like the SCAR. The SCAR Strix lineup, but I just wish they did have a mux switch because you just have the flexibility that way. Okay, do you think this laptop will be good for World of Warcraft Shadowlands? Yeah, it should be great. Gato for WoW. Where can I buy a Strix G15 3070 that will ship worldwide? Carlos, I believe HID Evolution ships worldwide. I need to do more research about the best international online PC stores that will ship anywhere, because that would be really good to have that. Okay, single core performance is game focused, not like multi-core. Am I right? Yeah, but it just depends on the game. Some games use multi-core performance, some games use single core. It just depends. There's a lot of variability there. Now, I've had a lot of issues with Warzone crashing on me when I've been playing last night and tonight. But the thing is, it was not crashing on me like at all when I was first testing it, and then it got updated, and then it started crashing on me. Okay, so we should be already on everything. Oh, I gotta turn this to off. Did it crash? Does it crash? Okay. Yay, it didn't crash. Yes. Okay. We should be at. Let's see. Let's just see the display. So we're at 1080p. Native. We're probably gonna crash Warzone by changing the resolution like that. Okay, 1440p. Cool. Let's see what we get in here. Didn't crash. Yeah, I guess the update helped a lot. Okay, so this should be QHD. Let's go ahead and go into our Battle Royale practice mode. Okay. I want to buy this with my student finance. Is the price good for his performance? Yeah, man, it's pretty good. He doesn't trust me, Jared. He only trusts you. That's so funny. Yeah, Jared's pretty reserved with his opinions until he gets the full testing done. I'm just like giving you all my guesses pretty much all the time, so I wear my benchmarks on my sleeve, I guess you could say, or what I think things will benchmark. I've never tried an AMD CPU. I'm scared to buy the SCAR because it has AMD CPU. According to you, it's faster than Intel. Nabil, it just depends on what you're doing. Yo, I want to buy this with my student finances. Is this price good for its performance? King, I would say the Strix G17 and G15 is going to be a lot better overall for price to performance if you really want to maximize price to performance. Those are just designed to be like price to performance kings, really. That said, it does depend a lot on what game you play. Like if you play esports titles all the time, then you'll want to get a laptop with a mux switch instead, because you'll get more price to performance with that. Okay, so this is how I do my test right here. We get up here, we point right at these tracks, and we let this thing get an average. Then we'll go grab a gun, start killing some people, get some nice gameplay of this game going. So we're getting 118, 119. We'll give it another like 10 seconds to average out here. 119, 100. $99. Okay, I wonder, we're not going to be able to change resolution, so we're just, I'm anticipating we're going to have to restart the system. Let's go kill some stuff real quick. Oh, that's a far drop, I guess. Okay, we got to go to the gulag. Oh, that's hilarious. Prepare to fight. Oh, God. You have been a bulwark for the laptop buyer in 2021. Thank you for your hard work, sir. The spreadsheet is truly a masterpiece, and these videos are meant. Thanks, Wolves PC, man. I appreciate the enthusiasm. It helps me having all these positive comments. Okay, let's go slay this NPC. Oh, crap. Okay, got him. What laptop brand has the best mid-range price to performance? Super Mike, right now I'm leaning towards the Asus Strix lineup, but it just kind of depends. Okay, give me a gun. Yes. Thank you. I saw a bad guy over here somewhere. There's a few of them over here, I think. Missed him. We're definitely getting some really good performance. Got a better gun here? Ooh, I like this gun. All these enemies are running away from me. Ooh, yeah, P90. Let's do it. Oh. Not paying attention close enough. Oh, God. I might die. That was really close. Do you guys know what the trick is to be able to load armor in twice really fast? I haven't been able to figure it out. Oh my gosh, these guys just keep coming at me. It's like the practice mode, just makes them fly at you. Seems like. Nice. It's hard to aim with these iron sights. None of these practice weapons have any sight upgrades. Let's try. Ooh, okay. LMG's pretty good, but not much ammo for an LMG. Oh goodness. He dodging. He's got good footwork. That CPU and GPU seem rather toasty. What are you talking about? It's 73 degrees and 76 degrees. That is so good. Such good temperatures. Nice. Victory. Are the fans of this laptop noisy? At maximum, they are noisy. But at you don't need to run them at maximum to have good temperatures, though, in my opinion. Okay, let's go ahead and try to switch the resolution. I never heard of Big Apple Buddy, so I don't know. Are laptop retailers intentionally limiting wattage in order to release TI and Super Edition 6 months from now? Nah, that's not the reason. It's just they're trying to like maximize performance in smaller, thinner, and lighter chassis, Diver, because they're motivated to put out the best possible product to compete with each other. 73 degrees is excellent for a laptop. Yeah, this is set fantastic temperatures for a laptop. Toasty, found the northerner. Is price good for performance? I'm pouring things spending on this. King, I've already responded, man. I think it's the SCAR series is not as good price to performance wise. You probably want to go with the Strix series lineup instead. That would be my recommendation if you want best price to performance. But if you want the most premium features, sure, you can swap around. It's not giving me the option to change resolution, so we'll change the render resolution. This is my only option right here. Should effectively do identically the same thing. Yeah, that's like my only option. Okay. Please include Total War in your benchmark. Isabella, I am currently not doing Total War, but I've got a number of requests to do Total War, so maybe I should add it. Does Total War have a good, easy to run benchmark? Where are you getting low CPU temperatures? It's showing 77 to 80. Well, when I checked it, like right now we've got 74, 72, 69, 77, and anything below 90 is good for a laptop. Below 80 is excellent, you know. So, and this is a CPU bound game as well, so I mean, it is what it is, you know. No, the keyboard right now is completely room temperature. I don't feel any heat on the keyboard at all. Is cooling laptop fans good? Yeah, these fans are good in this chassis. Go a little bit lower. Do. Gotta make sure I land up here and not fall down. Okay. Let's see what we get. Any screen tearing? No, this has adaptive sync / FreeSync, so it's good. You know, no screen tearing. You guys would be able to see screen tearing too, I believe, in the stream, if it was screen tearing a lot. So 137, 104-ish, 137, 103. Let's just give it a little more time. Are external laptop cooling fans good? It can be, but the main thing with an external laptop cooling fan is you want lots of underside ventilation to really just shove air up into the chassis, because that's when you're going to see it actually make much of a difference. Cool, let's go kill a few things and then we'll... Oh, okay, we just killed ourselves. Sweet. Okay, alright. We'll just leave this game. Oh my god. Any keyboard flex when you press down on the keys hard? No, like basically no keyboard flex on this chassis. If you want to know more about everything else, Kenjay, about the laptop, go check out my live unboxing. My live unboxing has a bunch of examples of me pressing the keyboard, trying everything out, and like it's got close-ups of the chassis and stuff like that. But of course, I'll be talking about that in my full review as well. Let's go back to 1440p. All right. Let's see here. We need to load up Origin for Apex Legends. Do. I made it blurry on purpose so I can log in. Okay. Apex Legends is downloading a new update. Cool. I think those are amazing FPSs for Warzone, don't you think? Do you want more? So Kim Garcia, I need to compare with some of the higher end stuff available from, like desktop stuff. I haven't tested Warzone yet on my Alienware. I want to do that before I kind of decide. But I think it's very good, extremely playable, very smooth, generally speaking. So, does this laptop have a Mux switch or Advanced Optimus, or is it running Optimus? It just runs normal Optimus, Jacob. It has elements of Advanced Optimus in the sense that you can switch it on the fly, but regular Optimus does that too. So, and then we also have FreeSync through Optimus, so we get no screen tearing. So that's really nice. Will Rogers asks, if I were to play at 1080p on a 1440p display, would I notice any major image quality loss? That depends on the game, Will, from my experience. Sometimes it's very noticeable, sometimes it's not very noticeable. Deirdre Ready. What laptop do you suggest between the Zephyrus G15 3070, Razer Blade 15 3070, GS66 3070? There hasn't been many in-depth reviews of the Razer Blade 3070 yet. Yeah, if you want the most premium of those, go with the Razer Blade. If you want the most performance, you probably want to go with the GS66 or the Razer Blade because they should both have Mux switches. Actually, I'm not sure if you're only going full HD 144. You might not with the Razer Blade. The Razer Blade is weird. There's only some of their chassis have Mux switches this year. And then, am I using the SCAR's keyboard while playing? Yes, I am. Having the GPU and CPU at about 80 degrees hot for your fingers on the keyboard? No, it's not at all. Then the keyboard feels room temperature pretty much. It's very, very comfortable to game on. The wrist rest is feels literally cool to the touch. Do you think cutting more holes in the chassis will increase cooling like someone not calling names did to the Asus stuff last year? It potentially can, Jay, but I doubt it because we already have such good temperatures anyway. Why would you do that to your chassis? I can understand doing it if it's really bad temperatures, just suffocating, but I would not recommend doing that to this chassis. Because, I mean, we already have... Look at all those air holes on the bottom. There's a lot of air holes underneath, so seems unnecessary with this chassis. So Alienware offers the same specs with an Intel CPU, which you stick with the Asus SCAR. I'd probably still go SCAR if it was me. But Alienware will also offer better esports title performance because it has you can bypass Optimus. Do Mux switches and Advanced Optimus still use G-Sync? It depends, Isabella, on the specific setup. Okay, firing range. Here we go. Also, let's just check everything. Cool. What do you think about flashing a new BIOS to update the TDP? Bendisim, I want to try it out, but I think it's extremely risky, probably violates your warranty, and if you break your computer, you will just be sad and out of luck. So the main problem with it is not your temperatures on the GPU and CPU. The main problem is if you update the TDP and you're pushing more wattage to your GPU, I would be afraid of the VRMs basically just being overwhelmed. This should be, I think, 90 instead of 110 right now. Yeah, okay. Cool. So this is Apex Legends. This is the way I test Apex Legends, just in the training match, because it's the same every time, doesn't change. I stand on this top step, or the bottom step, which is coming out of the middle training range, and I point at the center billboard display across the way, and then we get an average. This represents the performance you'll get like in the rural areas of the game. Inside of the city limits of inside of like the big city areas, you'll get less FPS because it becomes more CPU bottlenecked. Where's the Apex? I think I need to add Apex Legends to the sheet. We're getting 165, 130. I wonder if we're running into I think we may be running into max FPS limits or something, because we're just averaging 165 exactly. I need to probably change the launch settings so we can go higher than 165. What laptop has the highest overall performance, a bit biased to GPU performance, regardless of everything else? G15, Blade 15, GS66. Between those, the Zephyrus G15 and the Blade 15 should have the highest TDP at least. Okay, we gotta exit this. I think it's like FPS underscore max or something. Let me just Google it. Bypass FPS max Apex Legends command plus FPS max unlimited. That's it. Advanced launch option command line argument. Boom. Okay. Now we should be hitting unlimited FPS in Apex Legends. I was gonna say, like, why is it hitting 165 nonstop? Yeah, I think if you want to know the detailed comparison between those two, you really got to wait for detailed reviews, because those are all going to be pretty similar thin and light performance. But I would really recommend a mux switch if you can, if you really want the most possible performance. That'll make the biggest difference between those two. And I know the GS66 has a mux switch, and I'm not sure if the Blade does or not. Okay. On my Legion 7i 2070 Max-Q Super, the temp goes to 95 degrees on max graphics. Sounds like you probably want to repaste your CPU or GPU, Yash Gupta, make sure the fans are working. But that is really high temperature for a GPU. Are you sure that's not CPU temperature? Because CPU temperatures can go that high. GPU temperatures usually throttle at like 84. Jared, are the higher TDP 2080s as good or faster than the 3070? I haven't seen too many comparisons to the higher TDP model. RS Game Tech, I tested my Alienware Area 51M versus the Strix G17 3070 130 watt, and the Strix G17 130 watt beat my Alienware in the vast majority of games that I tested. So, okay, yeah, we're pushing higher frame rates now than 165, so that's good. Let's see what we average. Why did you choose laptop gaming videos and not PC? Because I love laptops personally, Hampus. I love laptops. I love being able to take things around, and I love the complexity of reviewing laptops too, because there's just so many different factors to them, especially this year more than ever. So it just makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so it looks like we're getting 189, 151 with QHD. 189, 151. Okay, let's change our resolution. 1080p. See if it can do it without restarting. Yeah. We've got our origin overlay. Let's restart the game, disable the overlay, and load in again. Do the test one more time, because I want to make sure the overlay is off. Shkabam. Okay. Having a hard time deciding. Haha, I want the best of both worlds for esports and AAA games. I want a laptop just for gaming with an AMD CPU. Yeah. It's tough. If you really want the perfect laptop, wait until March, April. If you really want an AMD CPU with like a mux switch, you'll have more options then. Because I know electronics is close to what you're looking for, but it's not as premium a chassis. And there should be great options from Lenovo and more options from Alienware, and just a whole bunch more options available as we get closer into this year or further into this year. Okay. CPU goes to 95 on max graphics and Apex. Is that normal or bad? That's fine, Yash Gupta, but preferably you want lower CPU temps than that. It's going to throttle hard probably at 95 degrees, which is going to limit your frame rates. Please stop spamming your question, Yash. I think the SCAR 15 is better than worst keyboard layout of SCAR 17, but please tell Asus to put delete key on the right place and remove flight mode key from there. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yes. Deruv Mina, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you want it above the backspace. Should you get SCAR 17 with full HD 300 or G15 with 165? It's funny, Carl. I think you got it kind of backwards. The ideal setup would actually be if you were to put the QHD display on the 17, which is what I would buy. That's what I would recommend. Get a SCAR 17 with a QHD 165, or a I would recommend getting a full HD 300 hertz. I mean, the 165 is still great, and the SCAR 15 too. You get that too. I'd rather get the QHD with 165 than 300 full HD, but I think the difference between the full HD 300 and the QHD 165 is so minimal. So I would rather have the more resolution, generally speaking, on both sizes. Your country only offers the 300 hertz in the Strix SCAR lineup. Carl, if you're patient, they'll offer more options, I bet. Probably by May, June, but that's going to take a while. Why waste time on this if we should just wait for March or May? 40 ounce, that just depends on what you need. Like if you really want to get like a Ryzen 5000 with a mux switch, with like great portability, battery life, everything roll wrapped together, then like this doesn't have a mux switch. Like everything's perfect about this machine except it doesn't have a mux switch in my opinion. It's the main downside. So we got 259, 206. Like in Apex Legends, we get very little difference, I think, between mux switch and no mux switch. But in other esports titles, it's such a massive difference. Okay. Dude, you just answered the question that has been making me lose sleep. I will wait till March to look at newer models. Yeah, Antonio, you can totally wait if you need to. You know, besides, even if you were to try to buy right now, you may not get it until March anyway. So, I mean, one way to approach it would be to buy from a place that has great return policy, right? You buy the Zephyrus G15 from Best Buy, for example. It's a 45-day return policy for me because I'm an Elite Plus member, but I think standard it's 15 or 30 days. So you'd have a little while to decide anyway whether you wanted to buy it or whether you wanted to keep it. So Looks like we're getting exactly the same FPS with or without the overlay, so. Okay. Very nice. Let's see here. Is there anything else we need? Cinebench now? Dude, oh, by the way, Antonio, thanks so much for the $5. Appreciate the support on the channel. I don't think I thanked you, so thank you very much. All right, Cinebench R20. Let's get our 5-run average going. With the new models, do you think the price will be competitive with the G17 or much higher? Jacob, I think it's just going to depend on which manufacturer. Like, I think the Acer Nitro 5, for example, with a lower premium quality chassis, will be very competitive, maybe even beat the Strix G17 for price to performance. We'll see. And then I think some of the Lenovo ones will be like right around the similar pricing as my guess is. But there's just no way to know until we get official announcements and everything. Brandon, after this review, would you keep this 165 or go for that 360 hertz? I'd probably go for the 165 QHD if it's me. But if you... Oh, we got Valorant too, yeah. Mucho Prato, we got Valorant too. We're going to do that one too. But that's me. I'd go QHD 165 because the response time is very similar, even if the refresh rate's not the same. And the thing is, too, in the games that I like playing the most, like Apex Legends and Warzone, right now, those games don't really even benefit from having the 300 hertz display because you can't hit 300 hertz in a lot of the areas of the map anyway. So going QHD is just better, in my opinion. 5144 for our first run. $51.44, nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Sorry, with the mux switch, yeah. Will you be reviewing the Zephyrus G15 with a 3080? Randolfo, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Who makes the electronics Prometheus chassis? I believe that's a Tongfeng chassis. I believe that's a Tongfeng chassis. RS Game Tech. I am not an expert on all of electronics. I know they have a mixture of Clevo and Tongfeng chassis, so it's either Clevo or Tongfeng, but I think it's Tongfeng. I think I'm feeling more biased towards Alienware since it has the mux switch with 150 TDP. I don't know that it has a mux switch, Nabel. It definitely has at least, like, depending on what display you buy, it'll either have direct connect to the display. I didn't start it. I'm just going to keep running this. I think that was 51.33. 51.35. So depending on which Alienware you buy, you'll have slightly different display connections. So like you'll have, if it says G-Sync, that means that it'll at least have a direct display connection through the NVIDIA GPU directly to the display at some point or somehow. So you get full performance. Now whether it has a mux switch or not is the question. Looks like right now we're averaging 4.06 gigahertz. And we are pushing 76 watts through the processor, 5077. Yeah, 4.07. And we're getting 76 watts to the processor consistently. 76.5. Some really great performance. It's just so much better in Cinebench. You know, the Ryzen 5000 series are just so much better in Cinebench than the Intel chips. It's pretty crazy. Awesome, Dead End again. That sounds like a good deal, Dead again. I think that Alienware M17 is very attractive for sure. For pure gamers. 5092. How accurate are their pre-order ETAs? How accurate are HID Evolution pre-order ETAs? I don't know, Koken. They, I think that'll just vary from how much they sell to how much they actually get. They're probably reasonably accurate. I don't know, though. How are the thermals? Let's check the temperatures while we're on this. Right now we are hitting 86 degrees, looks like. I mean, we are running a much higher TDP through the processor and a continuous, high TDP throughput. So I think those are still very reasonable temperatures. 86.6, 85.6 average right now. Okay, we're gonna do one more after this. 5103. And then, so what I do is I take off the first one. The first one doesn't count, basically. The Alienware M17 R4 is 150 watt RTX 3080 without dynamic boost and 165 to 170 watt with dynamic boost. Dhruv, Mina, if you've got concrete proof of that, I'd love to see it. If you can email it to me, because I want to add that to my sheet. Because if that's true, that's fantastic. That's really, really good, actually. That should provide even higher FPS, especially with the direct connect, than just about anything else on the market. Can you test the nits brightness? I am going to do that off stream, Joey, because it just takes a long time, and then I'll include that in my review. What's up, Reddy? Welcome to the stream. So for the last Cinebench R20 run, then we do R23. 5144. LOL. I just took off 5144 from the beginning. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do R23. That is incredibly good performance in Cinebench. Gentek appears to have a 30 series in stock. I wonder, will Micro Center bring out any? I have heard that Micro Center had some GE76s in stock. I don't know. Love from India. Thanks, Reddy. I was thinking of buying it and asked Dell India rep, and they told me this. Okay, that's good, man. I think that's probably pretty reliable information then. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we get in Cinebench R23. I got the SCAR 17 with these exact specs, but I have no estimated delivery date here in the Netherlands. Does this laptop have G-Sync or a MUX switch? It has AMD FreeSync and a no MUX switch. It uses Optimus to switch between the GPU and CPU, but it always goes through the integrated GPU. Valorant is coming up after this test, and Shumura. Okay. Very, very nice. Koken says, I've never really followed laptops because usually I do a quick Google search and find the best laptops in my price range. This is the first time I've been waiting on the next gen, and it's been awesome watching you. Thanks, man. Did Advanced Optimus died? No, there are a couple laptops this year. At least one confirmed, I believe, that has Advanced Optimus, the new Razer Blade 15 with QHD 240 Hz. But I'm looking to verify that information before I put that on the sheet. Hey guys, my ran CSGO on the Aorus 15G 3080 and got the results. The graphics switch is for sure the MUX switch. First run was 203 FPS. Second run with dedicated GPU, 368 FPS. Ooh, that's awesome. Thanks Vlad. That makes it so much nicer to recommend that laptop, because that to me becomes probably the top pick for under 2,000 almost for sure. Then I'm gonna add that to my sheet right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this while we, because this is gonna take 8 more minutes. Let's just go and update the sheet while we're here. So we'll just go to screen. Hija. Cool. All right, so here's my sheet of comparing RTX 3000 laptops. And so we've got, which model did you have, Vlad? Did you get the 3080 one, the $2,000? Or the 3070 one? I think you got... If you can confirm which model you have. All of these should have a mux in theory, but I'm just gonna put maybe mux. But well, I don't see why they wouldn't include a mux on all of them, but maybe they didn't. You got the 3080 version, okay. I'm just gonna put mux on 3080 version here then, because I don't. Well, what's this wrong one? It's this one that I need to do this. So I'm just going to put mux on 3080 version just to make it clear that I have not confirmed that it's on the other ones, but it probably will be on all of them. Do a battery test or a screen brightness test. Yeah, let's watch the battery test live. It'd be like watching paint dry, man. And it'd be like 10 hours long. So, yeah, can't really do that. It's too funny. Okay, so let's continue here. Will one be able to load Advanced Optos on this machine when it's available? No, that's a hardware issue. That is not a software thing or whatever. So, okay. Let me just put a note in here and say confirmed to have a mux switch by Vladster100. CS:GO bench went from 206 or something, 203 to 368 with dedicated GPU mode. That's awesome. I'm gonna say, oh, I should probably put with mux. I should include with mux on all of the ones that have mux. Okay. There we go. We still have 3 minutes left on the benchmark. Why not just buy a cheaper computer and download more RAM? Okay. By the way, the GE676, the 3080, has showed up at Micro Center, and now if you want to add it to your sheet, but confusion on whether the 3080 is 8 gig or 16 gig. Okay. Interesting. The thing about Micro Center, Craig, is that they don't ship it. Usually. You have to go in-store to buy, so I don't really want to put it on the sheet anyway. Maybe I can put it in the... up here. Let me finish putting in my muxes here. Okay. Okay. Boom. Anything else with the mux? Yeah, we got 3 more down here. Ah. There we go. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. Cool. All right, so all of those have been marked with a mux now. That is not what I wanted. Okay. That's right, and he said here we'll add micro center has some RTX 3000 laptops in stock. Okay, and let's just link to them. Let's see if I can find RTX. Well, I don't know. I don't think their search function works very well, so they have to. Let's let people search for it because we're more reliable that way. Okay. Cool. Where to download this 3080? Can't find them anywhere. I've been to Micro Center once in Chicago only and bought some Pry tools after a 24-hour trip from Australia. Worth it. It's a pretty awesome store. I'm not gonna lie. I have been a big fan of Micro Center for a while. There used to be one when I lived in Houston. There was one in Houston, so it's pretty awesome. I bought all the parts of my custom desktop from Micro Center. And I've probably bought 5 or 6 laptops from Micro Center, probably. You think the SCAR 17 is one of the best laptops in 2021 so far? Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you can hook it up to an external display when you're doing esports games. Same for the SCAR 15. Gizmo, the new G14 is up at Best Buy. $1,500 shipping late March. Ooh, really? Let's see what this thing gets real quick. We're about to finish up this, and then I can add that. Then we need to do the single core too. 13,100 points. Very nice. Let's add that in here. Okay, and yeah, let me go ahead and let that run for a second and then add this into the sheet. Okay. Looks like Best Buy broke their gaming, the link that I have. The 5900 HS 1 terabytes is Best Buy, no anime at that price point. It looks like it's a gray model on the Zephyrus G14. It's kind of a bummer. I'm updating the sheet right now, guys. If you guys want to, here, I can show you guys the display. I think if I go here, yeah. So there's the Zephyrus G14. So we've got a Ryzen 9 5900 HS, I believe. 16 gigs RAM. RTX 3060. This should be a max Q for sure. Let's go down. So it looks like a full HD 144 hertz and 1 terabyte SSD. Nice. Okay, so price to performance. What are we looking at here? Great CPU, decent GPU, all around. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 just because it's thinner. CPU performance. Let's see here. I doubt it'll have as high a wattage. I'm gonna give it an 8 probably because it should be a little lower wattage than the one in the Zephyrus G15. Is this going to be out of stock soon, just like the cards? Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's already back ordered, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so GPU performance. I believe we're looking at probably around the 7.25 mark. Maybe 7.5. Probably 7.25 because it's max Q. Premium rating though, probably like a 9.5 probably. This was $14.99, right? Yeah, I think this probably deserves a 10. This is Optimus. Okay. Let's go ahead and add this sheet in. Add this into the right price point in the sheet. Cool. Cool. All right, so looking at the chat, it showed up Oz back order. It's like they meant it to be pre-ordered, screwed up or something. It's a 60 watt GPU plus 20 watt boost. Okay. Yeah, I believe you on that. Let's go 60 to 80 watt, but let's just double check that on the boost clocks. Head on over to the official Asus website. Zephyrus G14. Products, laptops. Yes. Why didn't it go? Okay, Zephyrus G14. See more. Wait, it says this has a 100% sRGB display right there, so that's what we should have on this. Okay. See what else we got here. Dang, this thing's so light and thin. Okay, so 35 watts of sustained power when the GPU is active, 80 watts. Whole. Just like the Zephyrus G15, 35 to 80 watts. That is nutty for something so thin and light. And then this has 60 with another 25. So 60 to 85 on the GPU. That is awesome. Okay. So TDP found here. Boom. Is 165 hertz QHD monitor at 1080p good for gaming versus IPS screen? I'm not sure what your question is, but I would go with 65 hertz QHD if you can afford it. Hype for the G14. Yeah, man, that's great. I'd go QHD 1440p unless you're asking if you can also do 1080p. Oh, 60 to 85, even better. Yeah, I know, right? For people that need something super thin and light and portable, the G14 is amazing. Next year, NVIDIA drops the worst bomb RTX 3000 Super. Of course, they're going to keep upgrading every year. Pretty much every year, NVIDIA historically has always gone to the next upgrade. You know, that's just what they do. So you got to always keep expecting, you know, more and more performance. Embriz Gaming, lit stream. Yeah, thanks, man. All right. So let's just take a look at what laptops we got going on right now. I'm going to put the Zephyrus G14 in my recommended laptops list for sure. Because unless it has some serious problems, that thing is going to be a great laptop to buy, even at full price, $1499. How much is the jump from the previous SCAR 15 to this one? Oh, it's going to be a big one, Anshu. Big performance difference, I think. Makes me want to have the G14. Just wish it had a 3070. Yeah, if you really want a 3070, you get the 3070 with the Zephyrus G15. The size difference isn't that big, but the performance difference should be pretty noticeable. For VR, should I go with the desktop or the Asus ROG Strix G17? So the Strix G17 will be able to play basically all the VR titles, I think. Really close to all of them, at least. Let's see if Best Buy added any other laptops here to the list. ROG Flow 13. Ooh, they added that. Coming soon. That's cool. Let's go ahead and add this to the list. So $14.99 as well. Flow X13. So this is without the XG Mobile. So this is the Ryzen 9, I think 5800 HS, right? 5900 HS. Yes, but no XG Mobile. All of that looks correct. Yeah, 5900 HS. Okay. Cool. So people will be able to buy that without. This would be a great notebook for people that just don't want to pay for the coming soon. It'd be great for people that want to buy something without having to spend the full amount. And maybe they can get the XG Mobile at a later time. Even when Ryzen came out with 8-core, $1,000 options, Intel ones with 8 cores were way more. Yeah. How is the chassis on the Aorus 15G? I can't wrap my head around the fact that they're giving a 3080 for $2,000. I don't have the chassis. They did take off the unibody chassis though, compared to last year. So don't expect as good a chassis as last year's on the Aorus, but it should still be decent. Should we wait for the updated Legion series? It was the top last year's Ryzen laptops. Up to you if you want to wait, Darshil. Or Gohel. My Area 51 MR2 runs Warzone and Valorant with ease. Yeah, well, almost all the laptops do, but especially a Intel desktop processor should run Warzone and Valorant really well. Okay, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna mark down for this. 1650 Ti, Ryzen 9 5900 HHS, 1 terabyte SSD, full HD. It's an Ultrabook though, weighs less than 3 pounds. Price to performance is not that high, but it's high enough. I'm gonna give the price performance a 9 on this one. CPU performance What have I given it in the past? I want to make sure they have parity. So in the past, I gave it 9.5. Okay, so I'm just copy these up to the top. Up here. Since this does not come with the 3080 though, I'll leave this a 9. C performance 8.75. Interesting. I think we're gonna go 8.25 for performance on those. GPU performance, we're talking like a 4. It's really bad. Yeah, 9.5 for premium is probably about right though. And then let's go. Looks like the Cinebench is almost done. Let's go ahead and switch back to that. We're wrapping up the run. The timer is done now on that. Did they add anything else to Best Buy? It looks like just a bunch of Razer laptops. Yeah, okay. So that's all the new stuff that's currently available from Best Buy. Heard Exotic PC isn't that great. I did not have a great experience when I tried ordering from Exotic, but the main thing was they just took a long time to ship the laptop I wanted. Want to see the Legion 7 versus Strix SCAR later this year. Yeah, man. Me too. My honest opinion on build quality, this laptop has some of the best build quality I've seen. But it doesn't match the Razer blade, in my opinion. Laptops for mining should we be worried? Only for like the super budget models, I think. Brandon, have you used the Asus VX7, the godfather of the Asus ROG? I don't believe so. Are you talking about the one that had like the first like stealth design? I never owned that one, but I've seen it and you touched it before. Like, let me just Google that real quick. The VX7. Asus VX7. Let's see. The Lamborghini model. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember that thing. Darren's dad had that laptop and it broke on him. Oh god. How would an i9 10900K 125 watt be in a laptop? You just need to make sure it has a thick enough and beefy enough cooling to handle it, Miss Syria. Did you hear about Best Buy doing massive layoffs this week? Quite severe, apparently. Very sad. Oh, I didn't hear about that. But I guess it makes sense, because if people are doing a lot of curb pickup, they don't need as many people in the store. How do you feel about the SCAR 15 comparing to the Electronics Mech G3? The SCAR 15 will be a lot more premium Rhapsodos, but the Mech G3, because it has a mux switch, should offer at least a little bit more performance, especially in CPU-bound games. Some games it might be very significant, and other games it won't be really big difference at all. Even though it has a higher theoretical TDP, we'll have to see how it actually handles the heat and what TDP you can get in actual practice. In Jared's review, it did not get up to the maximum 140 watt TDPs, under a dual load at least. What's the fastest flagship laptop in 2021? I think the ROG Strix SCAR. The fastest is probably the Alienware M17R4 with the i9 and the RTX 3080, because it has a really high TDP and it has a direct connect to the display, because the Strix SCAR has to go through Optimus. That's the main problem. If you're using an external display with the Strix SCAR, it's going to be a lot more competitive, but the TDP on the Strix SCAR is just a way lower TDP. So even in GPU only loads, 140 was very brief spikes. In heaven it was more like 132 to 136. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so we'll have to see, Jared. I really want to compare like the Mac G3 versus like the Strix lineup and actual gameplays. Does the G15 have a mux switch? No, it does not. So with Optimus, do you have to always use an external monitor? No, you don't. You just can get more performance when you use an external monitor, you know? So if you want the additional performance, it's available. What TDP is the gigabyte with the 3080? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. You gotta be more specific to the model. So we got 1,441. All right, so we got to get Valorant tested, and we're done. I do not have Valorant installed, but it's very quick to install. I always install Valorant after I test everything else, and then I uninstall it. Yeah, because of the anti-cheat. On your spreadsheet, should link on 60L be on 61L? Let me check. Okay, so that's installing. Let me check my spreadsheet. Let's see here. $61L. This may be the long. Let's see. That one's correct. That one's correct. On 60 and 61 right now, it's correct as far as I can tell. Sometimes it can be a bit funky. Okay, cool. All right, let me go ahead and get logged in here. Oh, I love the keyboard. It's so nice. Oh my god. All right, so Valorant's installing. Valorant with low and high settings, both I want to see. Anshu Mora, we will easily hit 165 hertz on ultra settings in Valorant. We don't need to test low. It'll be probably over 200 average. We'll also be testing the GE66 or the GP66. Amal, I should be, yes. I am talking to MSI. They just have a shortage of laptops for reviewers right now, and I'm just not high on their priority list. So they will be sending me one. They will be sending me the GE66 and GP66 at some point, though. Are the Ryzen Master and controller still incompatible with the Zen 3 Mobile? I have not checked since I last tried a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago or whatever. I'll try again before I make the review on the SCAR. The 2021 ROG Strix SCAR max spec with 165 Hz or the Alienware Area 51M R2. Barista Prodigy, you'll probably get pretty similar performance between those two, even with the 2080. But I think the Strix SCAR will do better in GPU-bound games. The thing is, with the Alienware Area 51M, I would really not buy that right now because they're going to release an updated version of that almost for sure before the end of April. Or at least they'll announce it almost for sure. So, and that will probably be a massive performance gain because the 3080 with the 200 watt or 180 watt GPU should just be crushing it. That'll probably be the most powerful laptop available. So I would say if you want to go with the Alienware Area 51M R3, just wait. I think that would be a... If you go with the R2, make sure it's a great deal. Let me just say that. As long as you get a great deal on it, you're good. Okay, this game requires a system restart, so we're going to go ahead and do a reboot. What's up, Philip? I'm doing really well. Almost done with the benchmarks for the SCAR 15. What memory specifications in CPU Z? I want to know the timings of the memory. I can check that, Rick J, before I end the stream. Just remind me. Can that keyboard be operated in silence if I'm playing at night? So the keyboard is surprisingly not that loud. It's a little bit loud, but it's not like super loud. It's like do you guys like this whole idea of just making it blurry when I type in passwords? So many little things I gotta exit before we do this benchmark. Now we gotta open HW info. Okay. We are logged in. We are loading in. Damn, dude, you're still streaming? Yeah, man, we gotta get all these benchmarks, dude. We can't just quit halfway through. I've got a lot of benchmarks. I did all of the QHD and full HD for everything. It's just, that's, you see how many benchmarks I did? It's like 35 something benchmark runs. I don't know. There's a lot. So let's go to our settings. Let's turn off all these FPS limits. Graphics quality, high. VSync off, 4x, 8x. That's fine. We can leave everything on, because it's just such a well-optimized game. Do you think they will make a max PG 15 Zephyrus? No, I do not. They've got what they've made. Blipper, it's really amazing how much work you're putting in for the generation of laptops. Really nice. Yeah, well, I'm trying to really step up my game, my review game, to make these reviews as good as possible, you know? I want them to be... my goal is hopefully to be one of the top reviewers, at least for laptops, you know, so people have me as a resource and keep me around. And to that end, like, I really want to see all the new laptops and in person. Like, that's just, I'm such a nut about laptops. I love being able to take a look at all the new and latest technology. Is the all-core turbo 4.6 gigahertz? I'm not sure, but you see right now we're hitting 4.5. I think 4.5 and 4.52, we hit that pretty often in games. Brandon is a sadist, not letting the laptop even breathe, cool down, just bombard benchmarks over benchmarks. It's kind of true. Is the AMD Ryzen 7 5800H good? Yeah, I think that's a great processor. I think the main thing, though, is what the laptop manufacturer sets up for how much wattage they can push through it, because if you don't set it up to be very high wattage, then you can severely bottleneck the... I just realized the Apex Legends benchmark wasn't being shown. But if you don't have the wattage set up correctly, then yikes, you know, you're going to have a bad time with that processor. Because if you just limit it to 45 watts, it's not going to be nearly as powerful. But if you have it, like, you can set it up so the wattage goes up to like 100 or something. So if the wattage is going up really high, like in the Mech G3, then you can get really close to the same performance as the 5900HX. I've never done this map before. Well, we're going to go to A. So more watts is better? Yeah, as long as it can be cooled properly, it's great. What resolution are we also? Yeah, we're at the full 1440p right now resolution. This is great frame rate for 1440p. Okay, so I just started tracking. I'm just gonna try to get in here and be aggressive so I can get back to chat. Probably just gonna get shot by some camper from some corner or something. I think, is it? Nope, it's not someone. Ooh, we're up. Ooh, we got someone. Ooh, that's... Whoa, I just got hit by a bomb, I think. Okay, so the good news here is that even at QHD, we're averaging 205 FPS. That's pretty awesome. I just bought the Strix SCAR 17 yesterday. Dude, awesome. Like, that's the one I... Like, if I could choose, I'd rather get the SCAR 17. We look like we lost that round. Alright, we'll do one round where we save. We'll go with the shotgun. I don't even know which... I've never done this map before, so I don't even know if these are good paths to go for a shotgun user. I'm actually going to try going this way. Looks like we have people up in the spawn up ahead. Got one. Oh, that was right on him. Oh, come on. Why the SCAR 17 over the SCAR 15? Because I prefer to game on a 17-inch. It's just a little bit easier, but the 15-inch is much more portable. I just like the blend of a 17-inch chassis because it still fits in my backpack, no problem. But I think it's perfectly fine to prefer a 15-inch chassis too. Damn, those temps while gaming is amazing. Is that the fan set to manually to max? Yes, Randy. The fans are on max. That's the way I test all my laptops. But yeah, 59 degrees and 62 degrees. It's just, it's insanity. This guy needs to go get the bomb and plant it. He's, it's 1-on-4 though. Oh my god. No, it's not such a great... That's not such a great one. Can the ROG Strix SCAR run big games like Star Citizen? I'm sure it can run a game like Star Citizen without a doubt. The question is whether or not it can run it like exceptionally well or not. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I'm gonna go left. This looks like a nice corridor to camp with this gun. I don't know where people pop out. If they pop out right here, or if they pop up down there. Probably down there. My team is just like chilling. They're not even pushing up at all. They're like right behind me. They're in the middle section. Let's go, team. Okay, looks like we're just gonna push up in here. Flank around since they're making a bunch of noise. Got one. Let's reload. Hey, it's only one person left. Ah, come on. Whoa, okay, we won. All right, I was like, what happened? Are the actual Razer Blade 15 models hyped, or are they as good as the few reviews you can watch here on YouTube, especially the new QHD with 3080? I've really enjoyed my Razer Blade Pro 17, but this year I'm going to try to go for a chassis that provides higher TDP, more performance. So if you value the premium features that Razer has, I think Razer can be a great buy. Okay, we'll just camp this corridor for a second. Oh, teammates doing some work. We're pushing up. We're going for the flank. I don't know where the shots are or anything. Okay, looks like our ally is planting the bomb, so we should probably not go too far. This is kind of a crappy position because I could get flanked on multiple sides. Got one. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and test this at 1080p settings. So we averaged 208 and 118 for QHD. $208, 118. Let's go full HD as well. So is it gonna let me? Nice. It lets me switch it without restarting. So you know what's funny is if we get the exact same FPS because it's all CPU bound, we're just doesn't even matter what resolution we run it at. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, we got people coming from behind. Oh, this is a bad idea, pushing around like this. I don't have ears, so I can't tell where footsteps are, but it looks like they're up here. Oh, I messed that up. Got him. We got 3 enemies left. Oh, no. I reloaded at the wrong time. No. Okay. Cool. Looks like we lost a player on our team. So it looks like we are getting just a little more FPS with the full HD. Connect to an external monitor to disable Optimus. Yeah, bypass Optimus. Yeah, we would definitely get really great performance if we had this hooked up to an external monitor. All right, so we're just gonna probably finish out this round, and then we'll have an idea of the performance. Break your ice. We're not even pushing. We're just like so patient. Oh, okay. Well, that's not great. Oh, double headshot. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get a team wipe. Let's go. Oh, someone else already killed the other player. That was great. Okay. Yeah, that was a nice round. All right, so we ended up with 228, 133 for full HD. I kind of want to, I'm probably going to retest this, so I'm doing the same map that I usually do it on, because I kind of want the same map. This is a new map. It's like, I can definitely tell there's different FPS than what we normally would get. All right, let's go until we die. Man, I want that Xflow 13 bad. That thing seems pretty amazing, but the downside of it, I think, is the lower refresh rates. It's just not as quick. Like on the actual internal laptop display, it just doesn't seem as quick as like something like this. Oh, we got shot from behind. So to me, that's like such. Oh gosh, that guy's just spraying and praying. All right, that's it. 231, 138. Or, yeah, we're... What? Yeah. Yeah. 232, 137. Yeah, it's all good. That's close enough. Valorant, I don't do a technical comparison with, usually, just because I don't have a great way to benchmark it. It's kind of like this game that's just kind of, let's see what the frame rates are, you know, and then I don't do hard comparisons for that reason. Yeah, Valorant FPS is weird. I'm all about that fan noise, so I want to know how it sounds with that external GPU. Gotcha. Where can I see Asus gaming laptops? So real quick, as I'm ending the stream, I just want to go over the spreadsheet one more time for you guys. For all you guys that don't know about it, this is the spreadsheet comparing all the different laptops currently available on the market. As new laptops are added, I'll add them to this list. I just added a couple new laptops to the list today. I have my top picks right here. You can see my latest videos right here. And then through here, you can also get a rough idea of the performance. Do not take these ratings overly seriously. There's a lot of variances and things that will matter here. But you can find out if it has Optimus or a Mux switch right here. And you can see which ones are in stock. I update this twice a day. I've got another person helping me with just simply updating whether it's in stock or not as well. So, and then I'll keep trying to add more and more to this list to make it as thorough as possible going forward. So yeah, if you need some, if you want to be able to compare stuff really well, easily, quickly, I recommend looking through this list and then just going down here and finding your rough price range of $1,500, $1,600, $2,000, $2,500, and you can kind of pick between these laptops. So anyway, yeah. What's the response time on this display? It's supposed to be 3 milliseconds, but I mean, realistically, it's probably closer to like 6 or something. That double headshot was really great. Yeah, that's so satisfying. I love getting those double headshots in esports games. Like, that's why I love them, just like killing it. So, or killing people in a chain, like kill streaks. Love that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and thanks Jared for just chilling and having a good time. Yeah, I'm really liking the SCAR 15. I'm going to go ahead and compile everything, compare it with the Strix G17. And oh, right, we were going to do a quick comparison with that. That's right. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that real quick. So we can pull up the old numbers as well, side by side, right? So if I go to my old broadcast here, and we go over to Strix G17 live broadcast, live bench. Boom, this one. Okay, let me load this up.
Like I think
I'll go right here. Okay, so for CPU, I can show you guys this. Let me load up. I think it's this one. Oh, but I got to get the benchmarks template to show up over here. Why is that not coming up anymore? Ah, it's hidden. There we go. Okay, so this is the SCAR 15. We'll put the SCAR on the left, and then we can put the G17 benchmarks right here on the left.
I didn't do it. Okay.
Okay, so
Desktop.
okay, so right there on the live stream now, we should be able to see them side by side. Cool. Okay, quick analysis. 3070 versus 3080. Timespy, we got about 600 points more. 650 points more approximately. Point Royale, we got 600 points more. That's about a 10% gain. For Fire Strike Ultra, we got 570 points more. Cyberpunk, We got 65 FPS versus 56, so an 11. That's about a 20% gain in Cyberpunk. Far Cry 5, very CPU-bound game. Actually got a little bit less with the SCAR. That's just bad luck, I think, on the runs. Red Dead Redemption, we got 81 versus 76, so we got 5 FPS gain there, so not a huge gain there. In CSGO, we got, interestingly enough, we got quite a bit higher. Was it? I can't see it there, but it's like 231, I think, or something like that. And then, yeah, 231 versus 308. That's really interesting. I wonder why that is. Watch Dogs Legion, 62 versus Watch Dogs Legion over here, we got 54. So only an 8 FPS gain there. So very little difference in the majority of titles, but there is a noticeable difference. Anywhere, it seems like ranging between like 8 to 20 something percent between the 3070 and 3080. So probably the best case scenario is looking at the games like Cyberpunk with RTX and DLSS, especially as you go up in resolution. So I'm going to test the Strix G17, at least some of the games at QHD resolution, so I can have some numbers, good numbers to compare with. Not really worth it for the 3080. Only if you've got money to burn, I think, and only if you have money to burn. So, okay. Boom. All right, so that's it for the stream, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for tuning into the stream. I will see you guys in the next one. Brandon, out. Oh, yeah, wait. Showing memory specification with CPU-Z. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I promise I'll show you that, so I'll do that. Really quick here before we end. Let's just download the CPU-Z and I'll show you the timings. I'm going to do this and then end the stream. I promise that'll be the end of the stream. I'm thinking of switching from laptop to desktop. Any recommendations on what I should do? You just got to decide if that's helpful for you or not. Is this what you're looking for right here? I'm not sure if you're looking. I'll just kind of go through each of these sections here. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see it. It's so tiny. And I can turn it. There. Okay, I'll just kind of go through each of these so you can get an idea of what they say. You can pause it if you need to. There you go. There's all the tabs from CPU-Z. Okay, that's it for the stream. I'll see you guys in the next one. Brandon, out. Review SCAR 15 coming up soon. Woo! Bro, $23 in chat revenue, dude. I know, right? That'll pay the rent. Oh, 23 bucks. Did the Cinebench scores turn out less than the SCAR 15? They're very, very close, and it's just kind of CPU lottery. So don't read too much into that. They're both over 5,000. They're within like a few percentage points of each other. Okay, see you guys in the next stream.